The great Vienna.
Alright, cool.
There we are.
So, damn, I hate my squeaky chair.
I love it.
Okay, so this is... This is Talking SWBZ back yet again. We have a lot of people. We have 8 people. No, is it 8 people or is it 9 people?
I can count. What is that? It's 8.
It's 8.
Okay.
I
don't remember...
Professional counters here.
I don't remember ever like included myself when I counted these things. But anyways, so we have 8 total people. This is the largest technical show that we've had so far. We are all here in person too, and Wiggs is actually here in person.
Sweetie swag, what's in the bag?
And we have a new face, which is Ian.
Hello.
Yeah.
Mustard Legion, follow me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Mustard.Legion.
So yeah, just going across. Once again, we have Wiggs, also known as
Zach.
and then we have Benjamo19,
Call me Ben.
Bird of Hermes,
Alex.
Century Slash,
Will.
Bay,
Hi, Bailey.
Hey Sandwich,
Samantha.
Zerulean.
Also Ian.
Yeah. Are you down with Zerulean? Or are you...
Yeah, that's mine. That's the one for my YouTube channel also.
And there you go.
And Spuddles.
Oh, and
Yeah, and Nick.
Nick is Spuddles, which is me. You can tell because my head is shiny. But yes, so today we are doing a slightly different theme show. The overall theme is going to be games that flex on us and us flexing on games. So the understanding of it is that we're talking about games that made us rage. We're talking about games that were just, yes, they were challenging, but they weren't challenging enough, so we handicapped ourselves to make them even more challenging.
So that we would rage.
So that we would rage. So we all have like different kinds of personalities and stuff like that. I know that I love flexing on games and flexing on my companions, especially in multiplayer games. But
Love
someone
how you look at me.
He looked at me first.
well, it was like a glance over to you because I'm talking over there. But then I was like, it
But
makes
then
more
he felt
sense.
a bit specific.
But then some of us actually don't care for the rage moments, and I think that would be like more like Bailey, maybe Ben, to where they're just like, I like the easygoing, you know.
I want to have
Story
fun.
based,
Yeah.
I want to have fun. I don't want to be angry.
So
Oh.
in terms of us, how much of us are the easygoing? So Bailey, Ben,
Depends on the game.
maybe Sam and Ian.
I like it in
Maybe
the
a little bit,
the
yeah.
middle.
Yeah.
See, the problem is that Sam goes with the side quests more than anything, so she doesn't get to
Yeah.
the main content to make it.
Will, I know you're still butthurt about Black Flag. We know you're extremely butthurt about Black Flag.
And how
4
much?
years working on Black Flag.
Yes. How much of us are like they love the challenge and they make it as hard as possible to make it to be
On occasion, I have done
Yes.
that. Yes.
I do that with my favorite games.
So, well, first of all, I would like to point out since Ian feels that way, that means I should be allowed to use the Balrog.
Not not the first tournament now.
But anyways, so yeah, to kind of start us off, we're going to talk about a familiar one, which is Nuzlocke and Soul Links in Pokemon. Who here has done that, by the way? So everyone except for Ben and Bailey and Zach. Okay,
I wasn't invited.
you weren't invited.
Neither were we.
Which now, with your newly found PC, you may be able to
I
do.
found it in a room that
Yes.
wasn't mine.
This
Yeah.
one.
This
This
room.
room.
Whoa.
It's Nick's room. His address is.
Oh, I'm letting Zach borrow my other PC.
Ah.
So
I'm
he will
borrowing
have,
Venom.
he will have Venom, and I will
Oh, I
keep.
thought this was a bit.
It was right.
No, no,
I know you were. You called it.
We're-
I got $5.
we're
I
not
didn't
clever
know I
enough to
can't
do
that.
But yes, so
Will else
Nuzlocke
$50.
and Soul Links. So in games of Pokemon, basically what would happen is that we would use randomizers for basically, what's the proper terminology? For the
For
ROMs.
everything.
No,
Yeah.
for the ROMs, for the
It's a randomized ROM pack.
For the,
yeah, it's a randomized
for
ROM.
the game files, yes.
But then you can play them non-randomized also.
Can
It's
you
not-
say,
Is
what is
Nuz-
a ROM?
Okay, so ROM is a kind of file. It's like a game file.
Okay.
Yes. So if we used a Pokemon Blue ROM, it means that we're able to use Pokemon Blue on our PC.
And then you
So it's like game specific. That's
Yes.
what you're rolling. Oh, which game
So,
are
like,
you doing?
it would be like like a digital disc essentially, but you still need to download a separate player to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I
So
It's the same thing as CD-ROMs without the CD.
right.
see. Okay.
So the most recent Nuzlocke that I've done, actually the only Nuzlocke and the only Soul Link I've ever done was actually quite recently, and that is between me, Alex, Will, and Timmy. Who's got
Soul
Soul
Link.
Link.
You did a four-way soul.
We did a
We-
four-way
I
Soul
had
Link
mine.
That's
Nuzlocke.
just Morty right there.
How did that go? Did you win?
We are
No.
on attempt.
The quick answer is no.
We are on attempt possibly in the 80s.
Well, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So here's the problem. Here's what we tried to do, because it's like
You
how
had
we're
to
gonna
change
do,
the rules.
how are we gonna do a 4-person Soul Link?
Before we talk about that, maybe what are the
Oh,
original rules?
okay.
Okay.
Amend them?
So,
How y'all did it.
you already explained the Nuzlocke a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, Nuzlocke is
The-
not
the-
randomized though. Originally,
Can be.
Nuzlocke.
It can be,
It
yes.
can be.
But Soul Link, we decided to try it out. We randomized all the Pokemon that spawn and all the Pokemon trainers who we fight against.
And the starters that we start.
But in the original concept of a Soul Link, it's just supposed to be 2 people. You catch one, each person catches one Pokemon in their route, but those 2 are linked. So if one Pokemon dies, the other one has to die too.
Right.
Which you can see how this would be a problem with 4 people.
And the catch is that you also can only catch one Pokemon per route.
Yes, that rule still applies.
And we also had one about typing, which was that you can't have the same type in the party, or else it gets thrown
Yes.
into the PSC.
Again,
And
more
every-
complicated with 4 people.
And
Hmm?
everyone's party is the whole party, correct?
Well, we had to
That's where the
modify
change
that
happened,
part
because
because
there
that
are
would be
24
impossible.
types, Yeah.
So we only made it so that you couldn't have the same type in a pair. So if the first person encountered an electric, the other 3 couldn't find an electric just for that pair, for that quad group.
Also, if Alex was to encounter a Pokemon, his would be like, say, a male. That means the Pokemon that I would have to get would actually have to be non-gendered or a female.
And it keeps on
And
going.
you have
And
to
it
keep
keeps going,
rotating.
going. So Alex would get a male, I would have to get a female, and then Will would probably have to get a male, and then Timmy would have to get a female. But if we were to encounter, if I was to encounter a male, then I would have to leave it and then go again, and then like re-roll basically, and see what I get next time. So the problem that we have ran into multiple times with
Legendaries.
is legendaries.
Yeah.
We always run into legendaries.
We have just now gotten to Great Balls, and we can't catch legendaries with Pokeballs. because
The
they
only-
hate you.
We have only caught one legendary, and that's because Timmy caught a Groudon with a Master Ball that he found. Also, items are randomized as well. So yes, it's been a little rough because suddenly you'll encounter like a ghost type, and you start off with a normal type, and you can't hurt it,
You're soft
and then
locked.
that's it. You're soft locked.
Or you
That's
find a dragon that knows Dragon Rage, and they instantly end you
Mhm.
because it does affix 40 HP.
Or you hit a trainer
Who has Regigigas?
Regigigas.
Or you're like my friend, and on one of the trainers they had a Kyogre, and they said it was a magic card.
Yes.
That's very different.
That's
Yeah.
extremely
It's always funny though, 'cause
Beefy
you'll
fish.
you'll run
Beefy
in-
fish.
you'll run into trainers and stuff like that,
Kobe
and it'll be like
fish.
a bug catcher, but he starts throwing out like fighting and psychic Pokemon, and you're just like,
Yeah,
what the fuck's
It's like,
going on?
oh man.
But yes, so
Break the rules.
we do enjoy it, but it is quite frustrating, and we do have to simplify it over and over. And
Are you
over
guys
again.
still running that Soul Link, or did you give up on it?
We have one that we're working on still.
Yes.
I don't
Running.
remember where we got to.
Yes.
Cool.
Good.
I
We got to Golden.
what had happened is that we actually gotten pretty far in this Soul Link.
Are you doing hot
And-
gold or Soul Silver? Or regular?
Soul Silver.
But-
Yes.
It can't be so regular.
Yeah.
So half us are doing Silver.
The other problem is we tried to do Gen 5 first, which is
Yeah.
very unforgiving in
Right.
terms of available routes. Hard Gold gives you so many catches at the start.
Yeah.
But
So-
you only get like 3 with Gen 5, so we're like, no, screw it, we're gonna
Yeah.
do Hard Gold.
That's right.
This was the first time I have lost a Pokemon that was mine, that I lost. And of course it had to be my favorite Pokemon that I had at the time, which was Bork. And Bork was
Which is, what's the actual Pokemon for those who don't know?
a Spiel. I love my Spiel because he was a total badass and he would just run over everyone with his ice. And I was so happy about it. And then I ran into a trainer with a Regigigas and he started wiping out everything. So I had to sacrifice the Bork. And I was very sad.
He wasn't the same after that.
I didn't want to play anymore after that.
You need,
Nick's
you
like,
need a
by the way,
grieving
this
period.
is dumb.
The worst part was it was my fault type thing. If Will had like fucked up and messed he lost his
It's
Pokemon.
just normal for Will to fuck up, guys.
It is. So
You're not wrong.
Oh,
Tea.
if Will had lost my Bork, then I would have been like, okay, like, fine, it's fine. But knowing that I made the mistake and lost Bork.
And then I got to change around and be mad at him.
So this would all be an example of flexing on
For like-
games by making them harder.
Yes. And also they're kind of flexing on us because they're too hard, and we're just like, fuck.
It's a double
So
flex.
what is
Yeah.
the difference between a Nuzlocke and a Soul Link? Because
Alex?
I got a little foggy there.
Nuzlocke is just a single person doing it. It becomes a Soul Link when you apply the Nuzlocke rules to more than one person, basically.
They're not
So,
mutually exclusive.
Right.
so do the rules just mean you pick up one, in like a regular Nuzlocke, you just pick up one Pokemon?
Correct.
Yeah, per
That
round.
also
Yeah.
means have to be the first one you
Yes.
encounter.
He has to be the
or
first one, yes.
And
are
also,
they randomized?
You
It
can
can
randomize.
be.
It, it can be randomized if you want it to be.
It's what
Yes.
I'm trying to do when you just find a Pidgey and then another Pidgey and then another Pidgey.
I think the biggest important rule to state here that we might not have said is that, normally when you play a Pokemon game, if your Pokemon faints, you just take it to Nurse Joy and nurse it back
You have
to
to
like revive it or whatever. If it faints in battle, it's
It's
done.
gone.
You have to get rid of it. And also, you have to name it so you become emotionally attached.
Yeah.
It's a real rule.
It's like the
It's brutal.
Snap rule.
I missed Bork.
Yeah.
Which
What has been your Nuzlocke experience?
Yes.
Have you been?
I've done quite a few Nuzlocks. I've done Fire Red, Sapphire. I did a Nuzlocke run on Soul Silver, and I also did a Soul Link on Heart Gold Soul Silver. And then oh my god, it took me forever to do the Nuzlocke on regular Silver because I just had it on my Game Boy, so I couldn't randomize it. So
Oh
beating
no.
Whitney was so brutal.
Did you say Ruby and Sapphire?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then also Blue version. I was making my way through that as well.
have you
Oh,
done Soul Links as well?
No, well, I did a Soul Link on Heart Gold Soul Silver with my buddy Zach, which was not me, but a different Zach.
Also, a guy from Mars says hello, by the way.
Hello, Mars.
Hello, guy from
Hi.
Mars.
Oh,
Hello.
guy from Mars.
Do you know many
Greetings.
Martians? I want to know. What is it?
He's
Are
a
you
Martian.
the Martian?
He is a Martian because he's
From Mars.
Well, I meant more specifically, is he Jason Bourne?
Oh.
Is he Matt Damon?
Yeah.
Hello, Matt Damon.
watching our podcast.
That would be awesome.
Oh my God.
I would just need Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Aw, let me complete.
Shout out to
Reeves
Keanu Reeves.
dating-
He's breathtaking.
Winona Ryder.
No,
No.
they got married in a movie, and so everyone jokes about them
Oh.
being together.
They have a
Oh.
little crush on each other. They said it in an
He's pretty
interview.
content about staying single,
Oh,
especially with his history. Anyways, but yeah. So, have you been successful in completing a Nuzlocke?
Yes, I've beaten all the Nuzlocks I've done. Although I will say that the Silver Nuzlocke took me about 15 tries because Whitney was so brutal.
Mhm.
We also did not finish Ruby Sapphire.
We also did not finish Ruby
But I
Sapphire.
have an important story to note on this. So we're doing we're going all the way up through the first gym on Ruby Sapphire, and I started with I don't remember who I started with, but all I'm gonna say is that I'd done all the grinding to get up to be able to go to the first gym,
Oh, yeah.
and we were doing it. It was what 5-way Nuzlocke?
Oh, this was Fire Red. Leaf Green wasn't
Oh, was it Fire Red and
Yeah,
Leaf
this is
Green?
Fire
That's
Red.
what it was. So it was Fire Red and Leaf Green, and all the way grinded all the way up to be able to take
And
the
this was-
first gym.
This was a timed versus Nuzlocke where we were attributing points based on who could get to the gym first as well, and it was all on handheld, so you couldn't speed up.
Mhm.
That's brutal.
So just more context.
I had
for the
typing
story.
advantage. I was ready to go. I was going to be first, if not second, into the gym. I was going to sweep it. And then I was sitting in a beanbag chair, and I accidentally dropped my Game Boy and lost all of it.
And so she was
The
an hour
whole
behind.
thing. I was an hour behind everyone else.
Oh, really?
Tragedy strikes.
I can't
Oh, so they're
believe
just like-
you guys don't use an emulator.
Oh, I've
That-
started using it since then.
Okay.
I like
That
randomizing
is-
stuff
that
on
is
speeding up
insanity
because
to
my
me.
hacks seem to do
Yeah.
XP boosts also.
Oh yeah.
So it becomes so much easier. Like when you're doing the grind between the Elite Four and Red in Heart Gold Soul Silver,
Oh
you
yeah.
have to grind up to like level 90 or whatever. You can
Yeah.
just beat one Pokemon if you put in a multiplier by like 500 or something, and then you're there.
Yeah.
So it just
That's the
streamlines
way to
the
go.
whole process.
Gotcha. Alex, Alex and Will, have you guys been successful in Nuzlocks?
I have been successful in Nuzlocke. I have not been successful in Soul Links.
Yes.
So
Which Nuzlocks have you been successful
Successful in.
Good at.
I did it with Sapphire, I believe. I believe it was. That was the only one I really did before I did Soul Links.
Mm-hmm. Alex?
I have only tried 2 Soul Links before a group one. One was successful, one was not, which was very stressful because the failed one was already all the way up to the Elite Four.
This is with Timmy, right?
With Timmy, where he encountered a Sea King that landed 3 consecutive horn drills.
One hit KO moves.
Yeah, and then, yes, and wipes are. I mean, I had messed up a little earlier too, and then he lost 3 people to horn drill, and then it was just over.
Mm-hmm.
But then we came back in for the redemption round and won the next one after.
They got spanked.
We're like, we gotta win this one.
We got spanked first. That's what it is.
Yeah, no, we have to get a fire lit.
Okay, so the Martian, the guy from Mars, is asking what the podcast/show is all about. Well, Talking SWBZ is a podcast that is related to basically all things geek related in terms of video games, anime, some board games, maybe some movies and stuff like that we like, say like Marvel, comics, stuff like that, DC, Universe, anything else that I'm missing. That's kind of like general scope. Today's episode or show for this week is we're talking about flexing on games and games flexing on us, which is mostly just about the challenges of certain games, like say Dark Souls or Nuzlocke and stuff like that for Pokemon. And also, if you're interested in other things that we do, we also do Let's Plays and stuff like that. We have a YouTube, by the way, which is Talking SWBZ, and we have a Twitter and Facebook and all that other stuff that you can all follow us on. News. Oh yeah, I need to change the YouTube thing because it's not the / because the hyperlinks are not like that for YouTube. We have to have mad subscribers in order to have our own little personalized hyperlink.
Yeah, it's all just a bunch of numbers and shit.
Yeah, it's just like yeah.
#6VU98.
Yeah.
I think she's right. Gonna get us to a link of some dark web.
You're welcome.
Someone's gonna be sold today because of that.
It's one of those weird toy channels.
But the show happens every week, and we do something different every time. So last time we did Mario Party,
Yes.
and then time before that we
I have Alzheimer's. I
did
don't know.
talk about Pokemon. We talked about the Pokemon, and we did various other ones as well. I think that was like anime or something. So
keeping on with it.
keeping on.
What are some other games that you have enjoyed, Nick, that you have done some self-handicaps on?
So a big thing for me was
That's what I'm thinking of.
was which one?
All skulls.
Like playing the Halo campaign.
Halo campaign.
Yes.
All
So I
skulls.
was really big on Halo, growing up, and at the time, I did not have Xbox Live. Didn't have Xbox Live for like the longest time. So I had no one really to play with. So I loved the Halo series, and so I kept doing legendaries by myself, solo campaigns, and then I was like, this is too easy. Then Reach came out, and they're all like, we have these things called skulls, and you turn them on, and it adds higher difficulty, and there's achievements that you get if you do all skulls on.
I thought
And
3 came out before Reach.
But you had to find the skulls.
You had to find the skulls in
that's
order to
right.
enable them. Reach is just like have skulls.
Yeah.
Make it hard.
So I did solo campaigns by myself, which is called Lasso, which is Legendary All Skulls On, which is fun. Normally that takes a team of 4 to do. And
So what are some of the skills? What are the effects that some of the skills have
well,
on the gameplay?
there are fun ones, which is
Front
like
birthday.
Front birthday party. There's other ones where it's no HUD, so that means that you can't see like your crosshair or your gun or any information. I didn't turn that one on because that's just like a enabled thing. And then I also did, other ones are like famine, and basically that would mean that all ammunition drops are halved. So you would pick up a new gun and it would have extremely low amount of ammo. And then there's other ones like they have increased shields, and then also grunts would throw a lot more grenades. A lot of grenades.
Isn't it also so that there's no like checkpoints throughout the levels?
But there is one that is like that. That is iron. If you die, that is it for the whole
If you
level.
die.
Oh, that's not.
If you die in the game, you die in real life.
See, that's an example of what
Have a
makes the game.
sniper
not-
trained on
It's
you.
not only the game flexing on you in an effort to flex on the game.
Yeah.
Bailey, does this mean that when you didn't have a GameCube memory card, that you were effectively just doing that, no checkpoints all the way through?
Well, thankfully, it's only per mission and it's not the entire game. So that helped me out a little bit. Also, I discovered that vehicles are your friends
Okay.
because they have all the ammos and they hit hard. But I have had a lot of excruciating like rage moments where like I will make it all the way basically to the end and then just randomly get blasted by some random ass wraith shot like at the final
Those are
part.
so brutal.
Because they have huge splash damage. But anyways, that's like my experience with Halo. I don't know if you guys have also done some Halo stuff like that, but that is what I usually do.
I play Halo on normal and get mad.
I think I tried a total of one time, said, this isn't fun, and promptly turned them all off.
I think I only.
Except for one.
The important
Grunt
grind
birthday.
for
I'll say
birthday.
that's one I always keep.
I think everyone turns out it on.
Isn't there like a speech one where like
Oh yeah, it's Who's Your Daddy?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or who I wish I would have been your daddy or something like that is the whole thing. And basically it's everyone has rare dialogue and it's mostly just extra insults towards you.
And I just call it mad smack.
Die.
And it's just like, you're a foul offspring of your mother or something like that. And you're just like, what?
Wake of elderberries.
Guy from Mars says, I've not played Halo, but I like the original theme music of Halo. Yes.
Oh yes.
I
yes.
know.
Right. That could be a whole other topic.
Yes.
Video game music.
So you like
We did
Yeah.
things where we started naming off the like which Halo or which theme came from which game,
That'd be
and
hard.
I did one with Will where I was like, all right, Will, which Assassin's Creed is this from? And then he would be like, which Halo is this from?
Yeah. Maybe that could be
Which
another
Witcher is
one.
this from?
Yeah.
Like favorite music themes.
Yes.
But if there are
I would love to chime in about Dark Souls.
Yes.
So, relating to Dark Souls, I've only played a little bit of Dark Souls. I'm kind of a Dark Souls casual, but I've seen gameplay of people
Freaking cat.
doing no-hit runs,
Yes.
which is basically like a super nuzlocke in Dark Souls, which is already a very challenging game. But the idea was you have to beat the entire game without taking an enemy hit. Fall damage is okay,
Yes.
but you can't get hit by an enemy.
At all.
And those are painstaking enough. There's one person who spent an entire year playing it so that he had to beat all 3 Dark Souls in a no-hit run
And Bloodborne.
consecutively. And Bloodborne?
And
You also did
Bloodborne and Demon Souls.
All of them?
Yes.
Oh, I only saw one where there was a guy who he played all 3 Dark Souls, but if he got hit in one of them, he had to start over in the first one.
Yes.
That's insane.
So he played through multiple games trying to not get hit.
not fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, Will, sometimes it takes people years to play games.
That's Dark Souls.
Just like the no-hit run Black Flag game.
That's a hard game.
Yes.
Ouch.
And then he also says,
I felt that one.
Oh yeah.
He also
Sekiro
says-
Shadow Die Twice.
yeah, Sekiro Shadow Die Twice.
Which is a very fresh take on like the Dark Souls-esque
Franchise.
franchise, yeah.
Yes. Which has anyone here actually played Dark Souls other than me?
Watched it.
Have you beaten it? Any of them?
You're expecting too much of me.
Yeah. Which ones have you played?
1 and 3.
1 and 3? And you, Ian?
I played 1 and 3 as well.
I
What's wrong
have.
with 2? Because it was weird Jurassic Park nonsense.
No.
So the community is split on 2 because it's kind of like a cult classic kind of way. So it's like everyone mostly hates it, and then there are the few people who do like it a lot. And when they do like it, it's like their favorite one.
Kind of like a cult classic
Yeah.
kind
Like
of deal.
the pretty odd Panic at the Disco album.
Yeah.
It's just such a great studio album.
The Fight Club of video
I
games.
digress.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like Fight Club? Okay.
Non-wings.
Don't like Fight Club?
Yep.
Fight
I don't
Club
know.
aside.
Fight Club aside.
I haven't seen
You
we
haven't seen Fight Club?
don't talk about that.
Benjamin. Oh my god.
I have played 1, 2, and 3, and I have beaten all of them. I haven't played Demon Souls, and I have Bloodborne, but have not played it yet. That could be a Let's Play.
Very, very.
Yes. Yes. Dark Souls is a lot of fun. Just being able to do whatever you want, type thing.
And that would be a game that definitely flexes on you without you having to flex on it by
Yes.
adding any extra rules.
Unless you're that guy who
Unless
wanted
you're
to
that
go
guy.
through with no hits.
There's a dude who played a no-hit run with a Guitar Hero controller.
Oh.
That's a flex right there.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
a super
that.
flex.
Weird flex. Okay.
I like when people just take complete completely unrelated games and just put like Guitar Hero controllers to them.
So
Like,
much are you?
I
why?
saw someone play with a fishing pole.
Yeah.
controller.
That guy is.
Yeah.
He's a Frenchman. I remember him.
Yeah.
My brother watches his stream all the time.
Also the DJ Hero. Like,
Oh,
controller.
yeah.
That's
That one.
I still think it was hard to do expert Guitar Hero when you're just using a controller instead of the actual guitar.
I haven't done it that way.
Yeah.
That was rough.
There's
Through the fire and the flames on expert mode, 100%.
People do that.
I know people do that.
They do it well, and then they'll speed it up. Speaking of making things harder for yourself.
Flex.
Oh, you know what we didn't put on this list?
Beat Saber.
Beat Saber. It'll piss you off, man. It'll really piss you off.
It's fun. It's fun
Yes.
though.
It's
You
up
can't say
there.
it's not fun with a straight face.
It brought me to my knees, banging my head on the floor last
Now,
time.
Will, we
Out
don't
of
need to hear about
fun.
that.
What you do in your weekends is up to you.
Yikes.
I'm playing Beat Saber.
It does things to you. You don't
He goes to
understand.
beat his saber, that's what it is.
These games like Dark Souls, Sekiro, etc. teach patience to people, which is a very essential skill in for
I
life
agree.
and everything.
My patience runs thin.
Tell that to speedrunners.
It also teaches you to chuck something through your screen if you get pissed off.
I was about to say, Sam, you have a game that you're a pretty big fan of that requires a tremendous amount of patience to achieve their goals.
Okay, I will put an asterisk on this and say I don't necessarily know if this counts as a game that flexes on you in any way.
Okay.
But you know what's a really patience-inducing game? Is Minecraft.
That's
Mhm.
true.
Because to have the patience to sit there and go for like hours on end. Yeah. The sound effect changes. Excellent. But anyway, it takes a lot of patience, in my opinion.
And that translates well to all the big grind games also
Yes.
with your MMORPGs with World of Warcraft and RuneScape.
Mhm. The accomplishments of just being all like, I did this. I was like, why? It was just because no one else has done this before. Yes. But what do you? I don't know. Speedrunners are pretty amazing, to be honest, though, because half the stuff that we would never discover on our own without them, which is awesome. Except for super jumps in Halo.
Yeah.
But besides that, but yeah, any other like, for you guys personally, like patience-driven games where it's like you feel like if you rush through it, you would make mistakes and then fail.
A lot of them.
A lot of them.
All of them.
A game that requires a lot of patience is the Mass Effect series.
Yes, I can't do it. I can't do Mass
Yes,
Effect.
Yes.
Because
yes.
there's so much talking that you have to do.
Oh, yeah,
And
you're right.
for it to actually matter. And then the first game is really, really repetitive with its missions.
Yeah.
The planets are extremely repetitive, so if you want to have the good ending, it's you gotta push through it.
Which, for you, that's like a good flex for you, is that you've done all the extreme endings
Yep,
for
I've gotten,
all the
I've gotten the
aspects.
perfect ending for Mass Effect.
For all of
Wow.
Lex.
Which is it? Is it? Am I right in saying that you needed to carry on your campaign between the games?
Yep, that's how it functions.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the first game to do that, but it's definitely one of the most well known to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
It carries your save and all the decisions you made to the second game and then to the third game, and they all matter at the very end.
Ben let me borrow Mass Effect at one point,
He
and
also
I was
let me
like,
borrow
I'll
Mass
do
Effect
it.
at one point.
I was like, oh yeah, that sounds
Very
really
generous.
cool. And like he was hyping it all up for me, and then I was playing through it, and I was like, I like the parts where I fight, but other than that, I'm just like, how do I get to the fighting?
No, that's fair, especially in Mass Effect 1. Mass Effect 1, admittedly, is the worst in the series.
I was like, oh, please let me out.
Andromeda.
I disagree, but that's a whole different topic.
Guy from Mars says, ever heard about Life is Strange?
Yes. Yes.
That's a cool
Dude.
game.
Yes.
Someone tell me.
Yeah, what
Explain, please.
Okay.
Zach guy.
So it's like it's really interestingly animated. It's almost like a comic book style animation.
Okay, it's comic book style, and you're going through the life of this girl who's in school.
I think she's in high school. That's sort of what they never
They never
explicitly
explain
state. And then you're sort of making decisions, and you sort of have kinetic powers.
Yeah,
It's-
psychic
Yeah.
kinetic power. You can revert time back to a certain point
and change your
and change your decision to have a different outcome.
and that will affect the way it works.
Yeah.
And
It's heavy on like the amount that you use the power.
And it can get like dark.
Yeah.
Like the story can get pretty dark.
Guy from Mars says it's similar to the Heavy Rain game.
Yes, Heavy Rain.
So
You haven't played?
it's all about decisions that you make. And there are some controls and stuff that you have to do where like you're moving your character and stuff like that. And there are like what do you call them?
Jason.
Jason. There are like quick time events that happen where you have to press certain buttons at the right times, which will manipulate the outcome events.
So is
If you guys know Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, that's
It's
Heavy
like-
Rain is
Bring
the
that.
predecessor.
Okay.
it sort of like a choose your own adventure in a video game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you all start at the same point, but every decision you make makes a different timeline, basically.
It's like if
And-
you play the Walking Dead game. It's like this person will Clementine will remember that.
Yeah.
So Ian would choose option A, and then you would choose option C,
And then we have a different timeline.
and so you'll see things that she'll never see, and then you'll see things that he'll never see. But you'll still have some similar events.
Which is why when they did the Choose Your Own Adventure on Netflix with Black Mirror and Bandersnatch, my family spent like 5 hours trying to find every ending we possibly could.
Yeah.
Which I found like a secret ending in the end of the Battlefield 4 campaign, which was so basically you have to choose one of your comrades to go down and basically like self-detonate the bomb for a ship, because if they don't detonate the ship, then your battleship like hundreds of lives die, right? So you're like choosing between one of your two good friends, and it's a quick time event, and you only have a certain amount of time, and you're like, oh, I don't want to lose Irish or Patch, crap. And then when I played it for the first time, I was like sitting there like, I'm not going to decide. So I just sat there, and then in the background you see the whole battleship explode. I was like, well, I guess I lost. And then I got the famous 360, and I was like, yes! Secret achievement, let's go.
Don't just.
Grand Theft Auto's like that too.
Mhm.
Yes.
Guy from Mars says your decision affects your personality, which in turn changes the events in the game similar to your life.
Also, I always like the Telltale series on how they're always like, Alex will remember this in the top left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ian will remember this after I played at Alrod.
You can never forget tomorrow.
So let's see here.
I was gonna then transition into customizing board games to make them
Yes.
more difficult. So if anybody's ever played the game Trouble, which is it's like you're Parcheesi, you're Sorry, all of those kind of games with the same concept. There's a dice in the middle that you kind of pop, and that tells you like if you get your guy to home, then you can go around and then get your guy into like the end zone, which is the safe zone. My friend, touchdown. My friend and I decided to make it just unbearable. I can't really think of another way to describe it. So it's a 4-player game, but then if you want to play it with 2 players, like it's not super fun to just have like one person controlling one color. So we made it so each of us controls 2 colors that are across the board from each other. And then in addition to that, we did it so that every rotation, so it's like I'd play green and then he'd be yellow, and then I'd also be red and then he would be blue, you know. So then every full rotation where like every 4th person is gone, we rotate the board 90 degrees. So then our team changed.
Oh no.
Yes. So then you don't know, like you think you're doing well, and then at the end of the turn, it's like I'm doing very poorly now.
Yes.
So
what have I done?
so we would do that. In addition to that, we would do it where if you had multiple people outside of home, so like if you had a dice roll that could apply to multiple of your pieces, then you would have to randomize which one got to move. So you couldn't even make the strategic decision. It's like if you have 2 out, you do a 50-50 of like 1, 2, 3 is this one, 4, 5, 6 is that one, and move that one based on that. Also doing the rotation every turn. And then the person who won would just be the person at the end who got all of their people home on their turn for one of the colors.
Specialized board games and card games like that are awesome, especially when you have. It's also a testament to a person's friendship. Is that like
talk about patience?
Yes, it's to where like you basically throw down the gauntlet and like we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna take it up a notch, and then we're gonna take it up a step further, and then suddenly we get these additional ideas. It's like, okay, what if we did this too, type thing. That's also a testament to say Sam's liking of werewolf.
Yes.
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 Can you explain werewolf
Okay.
or
so,
mafia? Well, no,
We
They're
can go
different.
back to Mafia.
we can go back to mafia as well.
Mafia, I feel like is pretty is more well known right now versus werewolf, but because it's I think the origins, you know, it's sort of
Everybody's ran in with the mafia.
where the idea exactly.
Salem too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, so I guess for those who don't know, Mafia is basically it's a social deception game where we kind of have always done it just using playing cards to figure out kind of what what roles to have. But effectively, what happens in the game is everyone is secretly assigned a role. We associate it with playing cards, and there's a narrator, and the narrator tells everyone to quote go to sleep. And at night, different things happen. So you have these people who are members of the mafia. So the mafia wakes up. They're the only ones who have their eyes open, and they point out people that they want to kill. And the mafia goes to sleep. And there's another role that's the nurse. They wake up and they point at someone to save. Then there is the spy, and they wake up, and you tell them to pick someone they want to investigate, and then the narrator will indicate if they are or are not mafia. So then everybody goes back to sleep. You wake up, and the narrator kind of explains what happens at night. So the narrator could be like, alright, so the mafia have, or not the mafia, but suddenly, scarily at night, Zach has suddenly died. Oh my, how terrifying.
But the nurse saved it.
Yes, but the nurse has saved him, which would never happen because Clutch Nurse is Zach, so it would have to be someone else.
Yes.
Unless he saved himself.
Which he's Clutch Nurse, so.
He is, so he could do that. But anyway, so then it turns into a game of, you know, everyone argues to figure out who the mafia are. Once you're dead, you can't talk anymore. And then the game kind of goes on and on until either the town people figure out who the mafia is or the mafia effectively kills everyone off.
Which my favorite role is the fool.
Yeah.
Yes, so there's
It is me.
there is a rule in Mafia that's called the Fool. If you play One Night Ultimate Werewolf, that's the Tanner.
If you
And-
play Town of Salem, it's the Jester.
The Jester. And it's basically that one individual who's not really on anyone's team, they just want to die. So, like, they win the game if they die.
They take a lot of depression naps. They,
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone knows they fucked up when they're like sitting there like, so I'm dead, right? And then everyone's like, yeah, and they're all like, crap, we all made mistakes. Yes, I'm dead.
And
It's like,
I think in the theme of you know, flexing on games, to my understanding, Mafia started out as sort of like a
word of mouth game.
yeah, and like an icebreaker game, you know, like a game that people use to get to know each other and to, you know, kind of clear the air. And as a society, and our group included, we've started adding on more and more roles, you know, like the town fool.
Bus driver.
And the bus driver is
F the
also one of
bus
our
driver,
favorites.
man.
Yeah.
So the bus driver is someone who basically switches to
what
people's
happens?
actions during the night. So, like, say Zach was the nurse and he tried to save Ian, and I was the bus driver, and I say, I'm going to switch whatever Zach and Bailey did. So now, whatever Bailey picked to do to someone, they're now saved because that's what Zach did, and it gets all kinds of confusing. So we as a group, we played Mafia for a long time, and we did the very basic rules for a while, and then somehow got bored of that. I don't know how that's possible because we played a lot. And then we started adding all these other crazy rules. And for some added fun, I like to narrate, so I also picked up a Nerf gun, and so whoever died, I would just like obliterate them.
Yeah. And like, Mafia starts with just like, I think 3 roles, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're a Mafia member, I guess 4. You're a Mafia member, a nurse, a detective, or just
Just
a
a
townsperson.
civilian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a civilian. But we were getting to a point where we had like, you know, those
2
4
townspeople,
roles.
but everybody else was a role.
Yeah, basically there were 2 people that didn't have like a job to do, like a special role.
And when you play with the same people over and over and over again, you start to be like, I know you did it because I killed you last time.
Yeah.
all
And
about
then you're sitting there like, as the person, you're like, well, you're not wrong.
And that's why the joke has always been the safe bet is to kill Will.
Yeah.
Will.
Will. If Will doesn't get killed first, guess who's a Mafia member? It's Will.
So unfair.
It's true though.
Also, one of my favorite things, we're going off on a Mafia tangent here, but one of my favorite things about playing is whenever you try to interrogate Zach to ask who he is, he just always says, I drew a card, it's me.
Yeah.
That's all he says. all the time.
And really, the whole thing about me
'Cause my card is me.
dying though, is
Uh-huh.
I'm
not
I'm
lying.
Mafia or I'm nurse and I've saved myself.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Because he knows.
But then you get lynched and then we're screwed.
And
Yeah,
then I
but
get
then
lynched.
everybody's like, oh, Will's definitely Mafia. Let's kill him.
Oh, he
no,
didn't
nurse
die
now.
first round. He's a Mafia. He's gonna die.
Yeah.
Will dies first or second round. No matter
Can you
what.
say seg for me?
Seg?
Way. All right. So.
That's really good.
So I think we need to go back to like maybe something that other people are more familiar with. In terms of video games, Alex, you've played Celeste.
I have. It is a great game.
Can you
I would recommend it to
explain?
all.
Explain Celeste.
Celeste is basically just a platformer, but I mean that's enough isn't doing it justice because I think it's the king of all platformers that I've ever played.
Yeah.
It's a combination of like all different platform mechanics. You can climb. You have an ability called dash, which is I think the defining feature of it. So you can dash in one of 8 directions, and that makes for a lot of challenging obstacles that you have to overcome. So basically, if you don't want it to be challenging, you don't have to. You can just play through all 8 levels, and they're not that difficult. And you can just be like, cool, it's a cool game. It has a really good storyline. I'm not going to spoil anything for it, but it's really like deep and like emotionally gripping storyline to go through and just experience it. The heartstrings. Yes, it absolutely does. But if you want to flex, you're like, okay, I can do this now. I got the challenge down. You can do the reverse side of each level called the B-sides, which is probably twice as long and 3 times as difficult. Just like really like every level introduces like a different kind of mechanic. So like one level has like a feather, so you have to like fly around. You get the feather and then you can fly around in all directions, and you have to get to the next feather before the feather power runs out. So it's like
It adds another element.
it adds another layer besides your own abilities. So each B-side like tests that mechanic to its limit in like a very long sequence of events.
Have you beaten all the B-sides?
I have, yes.
Nice.
And then you beat all the B-sides and you're like, oh, I flex real hard. But little do you know,
There's a C?
there is a C-side to each one, which is not as long. There's only 3 left. There's only like 3 areas to each stage, but they are very hard.
Yes.
It's like the opposite. Like the other one were like longer with a lot of difficulty, but not nearly as much as each individual screen in the C-sides.
Have you beaten all the C's?
I have beaten all the C-sides. It
Nice.
took
Flex!
out of
Big flex.
I tried real hard, flexed real hard, but each level, I think my record was dying almost 1,000 times in the hardest one before I could beat one C-side.
Me, I can't do platformers. I just can't. It's just against my will. I can shoot people.
No,
I can stab people.
Yeah. It
But
does
I
require a lot
can't
of
jump
patience, that's
from
for
here
sure.
to there.
Not use that before.
It'd be good. Yeah.
But Your Honor, I can't jump from here to there. You don't understand. Also, from what I've seen, it's very visually pleasing.
Oh
and
yes, art style's
audio is
beautiful,
really nice,
music's great, everything's just so on point.
Do you guys know what a TAS is? Okay. TAS. So a TAS is a tool-assisted.
Did you watch that? Did you watch the Celeste task?
Yes. So it's a tool-assisted system, or
Tool-assisted speedrun.
oh, tool-assisted speedrun.
Yeah.
So basically, they would have a bunch of programmers before, and they would actually pre-record all the inputs to the controller beforehand. So basically, you'll have like an AI that can play the game for you,
In
right?
exactly the way you want it. Like you can
Down to
change,
the
You
frame.
can change their input frame by frame. Yes.
Yes. So suddenly you could beat a level within seconds when it normally took you hours, because they can manipulate certain glitches that are normally frame perfect. And it's better to explain a frame is only a fraction of a second. Some games have different sets of frames. Some will do 24 per second, and then others will do 60 per second. So if they do frame perfect tricks, that means they're like insanely accurate. Something that so it's beyond human capability.
I've seen that for, what is it, Getting Over With?
Getting over it? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize what TAS stood for. I was like, oh, this guy's great. Now I realize it's a robot.
Yeah.
Makes more sense.
Well, there's a lot of skill for the people to program. the
That's
robots.
true. That was a lot of skill involved.
It takes a lot of
They
time.
flexed on games.
Oh, that's a flexible game.
Yeah. It takes a lot of time for them to do that.
Rewriting the game.
Which I think they actually have to manually put in all the inputs per every frame.
Yes,
So-
every single frame.
However long the actual run is. So say it was a minute, okay? You multiply those 60 seconds by say 30 frames. And that's every single line of code that they put in. So then if you multiply that by say an hour speed run, that's a lot of code.
That's a lot of
Oh.
lot of inputs.
Which has been done. Let's see here. What else? Binding of Isaac. Zach.
I've only played it a couple times, but it just made me rage so hard.
And?
Because I was stuck. Because the whole point of Binding of Isaac is you're in a dungeon. It's a dungeon crawler from a bird's eye POV. And you're just trying to fight all these enemies, get all the things, and fight your mother. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, because she casts you out into the dungeons.
The game's really like kind of messed up.
It's
like,
real fucked up.
Like, because it's basically how crappy of a mother she treats her kid.
Because like she just tossed him aside, and now he has to like go through blood and gore to try to get back to her.
Yeah. It's really gruesome and
Yeah.
high, like a lot of violence and stuff like that. Especially for a little 2D, like almost similar to the old school Zelda games in a way. That's kind of like the kind of platform, not really platformer, but
Yeah.
side scrolling.
I would always, because my whole goal was to get all the characters.
Mhm.
Because you unlock one every time you, I think,
Beat a level.
beat a level.
Yeah.
Or complete the run.
Mhm.
And each character has a different power that goes to them. But I was trying to get the girl. I can't remember the
Isaac.
Izette, yeah.
Sure.
Sure, we'll go with that. And I was stuck in a room with like a giant bat, and he was on like slamming me into a wall.
So unbeaten for Zach.
Unbeaten for me.
Yes. So Bailey actually likes
Assassin's Creed
Mario
Black
Maker a lot.
I do. I actually haven't been playing the new one that much.
As much, or
That
just not that
much.
much.
That much. Because I've been playing other games.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also like, it's gonna be
Still
there
playing.
Right.
later.
But you do
Just with
enjoy.
more.
You do enjoy it a lot.
I
though.
do.
Yeah, I do. I
Just got a gun.
I will say building levels on the new Mario Maker is not as fun as it was on the old Mario Maker because you don't have like the stylus where you can just like basically draw
Mhm.
on it. So it makes it a little less fun to build levels, but yeah, I would say that Mario Maker levels are like a hitter. Like sometimes it's like, alright, I don't want to play anymore, they're all too hard, I don't want it.
Yeah, that's what happens with a lot of community-driven games and like levels. Because like me and Zach were looking at some Smash levels because people can make their own Smash levels.
It's all art, no substance.
Yeah, so like they'll make these like crazy-looking levels, but unfortunately it's all background and there's only like this little stage that's off to the side, so you can't even see most of the level. So you'll have this really, really in-depth, awesome Waluigi that you're playing on, but you can only
You only
play
play on
on
his hand.
Yeah.
Or they had Trainer Red from like the Pokemon games.
Yeah.
Like in the battle screen, but it's only you're playing on the little platform where like your Pokemon balls are,
But you can't.
but you
the-
can't see the rest of the
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah, and like the Pokemon balls like are not tangible either. So
Yeah.
you're just playing on the
Beyond-
bar. The experience bar is basically
Yeah.
what you're playing. So it was like it could have been so much better. We did find a couple of them that were really, really
Mhm.
cool. Obviously Will would hate those because he just like
The
he just,
mixing bowl.
oh, the mixing bowl. Will doesn't like gimmicks. He just likes normal, straightforward levels. Fight me here instead of oh my god, there's lava. Oh my god,
Yeah,
there's
because
bombs.
it doesn't prove that you're good at it.
It adds adaptation to it.
But it's not fun.
It is. Fun.
It is.
You're just not fun.
I
Damn.
agree with Will. It's not
Oh,
fun.
I get it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say I agree with Zach. And I was like,
Oh.
No, normally I agree with Zach, but
hey.
Will's right.
Gosh. My sister-in-law actually tagged me in a video of a Mario Maker level. I'm pretty sure it was one of the water levels
Mhm.
where the only way you could win was if you tapped to the beat of the music. Like
Oh,
it had
yes,
to be.
I've seen
Did you
that
see
one.
that video?
It's
It was
super cool.
crazy.
Yeah, Denny and Aaron had to play that as well.
Yes.
Oh,
And
did
they
they?
failed
Mhm.
numerous times on it. It was awesome. That's from Game Bros, by the way. I'm so just I'm sure
Yeah,
people
because it's not that it's perfectly to the music, it's that the person that made that thinks it's going perfectly to the music.
Mhm.
So which like maybe just like a little bit before, a little bit after the beat.
It's too.
There's like human error for sure.
Yeah.
But it's so close that it's like
It's very heart wrenching to where you have to do like the exact like right button press all through the entire level.
You have to do it how the creator did it.
Yeah,
Basically.
exactly.
And they did it in a one
only
thing.
one
It's
way
like,
to do it.
okay, done.
Yep.
I would do it, and I would purposely do it like an offbeat or something like that, to where it really messes
Oh,
There's
people.
you
just
would
slightly
mess
off.
everyone
It's like what?
Alex and I are currently flexing on Wind Waker
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you
I'm
flexing on Wind Waker?
because there's a mode that you can toggle on and off called Hero Mode,
Mm-hmm.
where you get no recovery hearts throughout the whole game, and enemies do twice as much damage.
Yep.
It's fun.
That's
doing
the
my
Let's Play
best.
that they're doing right now.
Yes.
Check out the YouTube.
Check out
channel.
YouTube for the Let's Play.
Yes. Oh, and for people who are tuning in on the stream, follow the stream so you can tune in every time
Next
we're
time.
streaming,
Which is Sundays.
which is Sundays. Normally Sundays.
Today's.
I don't think it's never not been a Sunday, but
You never know.
let's
Life
not,
happens.
let's not
In
declare
case
that
we
it's always
decide
Sunday.
in case we decide to stream like a different day. You know.
Bye, guy from Mars.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye.
friend. Thanks for
Bye,
listening.
friend.
Drop a follow.
Come
something.
back again sometime.
But we also have, once again, YouTube where we post videos, Facebook where we do continuous posting, as well as Instagram, Twitter, and other things that I can't quite think of right now. I think I hit
Discord.
everything. Discord. Yes, we have a Discord.
We do.
It's not beautiful yet, but it will be.
It's pretty good.
Do you guys remember Monkey Ball?
Yes.
Yes. Super
I
Monkey Ball.
love Monkey Ball.
I just remember it being brutal. suck
I
at
was
Monkey
thinking
Ball.
about games where you had to have a lot of patience. Monkey Ball is one of those.
Does it make you go bananas?
I love Monkey Ball. That's a GameCube game, right?
Did you actually
believe so.
enjoy it?
It's also an app.
Oh yeah, I love Monkey Ball.
Did you say it was an app?
Yeah, you can get Super Monkey Ball 2 as an on iOS.
Wait, really?
Or you used
Forget
to.
everything I was gonna do at work tomorrow.
Including work.
Unless my
even-
bosses are watching.
Yeah, you can even get like emulators, other emulators on your phone nowadays too, like
Mhm.
GameCube
Wow.
games and stuff like that, like Pokemon.
Yeah, I tried to play Pokemon Emerald on my phone. Didn't work out.
Negative.
So, if I remember correctly, when we used to be on Xbox 360, I think it was,
Yeah.
there was Doritos Crash Course.
Oh
That
yeah.
was also annoying as hell.
It was fun.
What is this?
Isn't
Doritos Crash Course is basically
Sometimes trash.
It's sometimes trash. You basically have your own character, I guess it is.
Yeah.
And
it's
you
your
go through
Xbox
a-
avatar.
Yeah, and you go through a obstacle course.
Mhm.
With
Oh,
it.
like Wipeout.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like Wipeout, but the problem is that when you go
It's
against
the
somebody
Wipeout version of
like Sam,
Ninja
who
Warrior.
ends up beating the record, and you can't catch up to the record, then
So it's
you
just
get
not
kinda
fun
mad.
anymore.
Similar to how in Beat Saber, when someone is trying to beat another certain person's high score,
High
Hey,
score.
I still own that high score at Timmy's right now, so
Ooh,
we can change
tea.
that real quick.
Let's go break into his house.
Yeah.
That's what
it was
For
the song.
more of the high score.
Yes.
I don't know how much
Breaking
higher we can
live
get that
stream.
score though.
He finished Overkill though.
I know he did finish Overkill.
Full speed.
Yeah, full speed.
Nice.
It was fun.
Which the song in question originally was Veracity, which
Veracity,
is the
Overlord.
Overlord season 3.
Opening, yes. But we just both really liked the song, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a high score. Then we'll all decide who will beat me. Then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take it
Wait.
back, and it just went down.
And that's just a normal Saturday.
Yeah.
We used to do that with a game, Just Dance. You guys have played it before, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But we did that with the. I can't. Oh, it's Rain and Men. That was the one in our house. We were like, no, I'm gonna get the high score. I think I had the flex.
Sounds like we've transitioned into games that flex on friendship.
Monopoly.
I was about to say, we're going to talk about
Monopoly.
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 Yeah.
Because there are ways to Also flex on Monopoly.
My
I would
gosh.
love to talk
Get
about
that money.
You don't
Flex.
technically
Please,
have to
invite
flex in
us.
order for it to
So-
ruin friendship.
So we were playing. Samantha and I were playing one day with some friends, and I decided. Also did this with your family.
Yeah,
The first
that
time I
went
met
well.
your. Yeah. First time I met your.
First
brother
time
and
he
sister-in-law.
met my brother and sister-in-law, by the way.
It was so great. I
Great
was like, you know what's a
impressions.
great icebreaker for me meeting her family is bringing a game of Monopoly. not my strongest move. So you know how Monopoly works, where it's like you go around, you buy the properties, and then you try to bankrupt everybody else until you win.
Oh,
No.
is that?
No, is that how that works?
Yeah. Okay. So
No, I'm not specific.
I decided I would try to make it more interesting. With alliances, your
Mhm.
informal
Everyone, yeah.
partnerships where you're like,
Yeah.
you don't have to pay for that this turn or something
Yeah.
like that. But then I also decided to bring gambling into Monopoly.
So the backstory is that basically Ian was losing. He was
I
he was
a
out. He
dumbass,
had
yeah.
no money.
I had a little bit of money.
He had been next to no money.
I had like one utility.
And so what you decided to do,
This is late game also.
was
I decided to start making bets on what my dice rolls were going to be with people. So I was like, all right, if I get like 10 or above, you give me that property. But if I get lower, then I give you my property. I kept making those rolls, so I started getting myself back into the game with these just nonsensical. In my defense, it's a two-way street. They had to agree to it also. So
Yeah,
it
it's
wasn't,
not like you
I was
twisted
the
anyone's
instigator, but
you
they,
a little bit twisted their arms.
They were like, I feel pity for you.
they was
Sure.
mostly that. But,
I like that idea though.
Yeah, I loved doing
Because
that.
it
It was
gives-
infuriating, but for others. But
It's like a comeback mechanic, so if you're ever behind, you're still not out,
Yeah.
So
I just-
He's down,
Monopoly-
but not out.
Monopoly lasts too long for me to be like, oh yeah, definitely. I'd be like, nope, you're done.
You're done. Give it.
we have a Monopoly Let's Play on the YouTube
Yes,
channel.
we do.
oh.
And it was me,
Oh.
Ben,
Spoilers.
Alex, Will, and Timmy. My man.
Which basically Timmy wasn't there because he just played for Nick the whole time.
He does that every
Native.
single
He just
game.
played to troll.
Timmy.
It was just like him playing
No,
Call of Duty gun game and just stabbing people the entire time.
The disrespect.
It's just
Timmy was perfectly happy until Alex disrespected the
Oh my
boys.
god. Well,
So
listen. You're gonna tell me that a light blue property is the same value as a red property, and you think that's a fair trade? Get out of here with that.
And,
Of
so-
course, I had to start him on this roll.
Timmy will be watching this and he will come at you again.
Go blue.
So basically, Alex disrespected the light blues. And I had made a comment saying that the light blues are boss. And Timmy was with me on the light blues are boss. And I was like, Timmy should get those. So at the same time, I also acquired greens and yellows.
Oh,
And
The actual
the story
background
unfolds if you watch the rest of it on YouTube.
It's a good watch.
It is a really good watch.
I watched it.
Some make it, some don't.
Yeah, a few more people sneak in. How are you guys
I
doing?
didn't.
I got cookies.
Oh,
Yay!
Yes, Mom.
You're live, by the way.
Anyway, you guys doing good?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Good. We just left the machine. It was December.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what was that?
Thank you.
thank you for
Thank you.
cookies.
Yeah,
Yes.
appreciate it.
You're the best.
Iana?
Great hosting.
Nick, don't be rude.
No, I'm saying if she was going. She's going to a concert.
Anyone watching?
Oh, where? What
Was anyone
concert?
watching Lexi?
Peter
So I'm gonna
Dinklage.
give it to the viewers first. You guys want some cookies?
Denied.
Oh, Nick, sorry.
You got denied.
Wait, so
Gotta share with the viewers.
I guess I'm not having any cookies.
Alex.
Alex is too
You
quiet.
just denied it.
I didn't get one.
Well,
Yes,
you know
you
what
did.
sucks.
Well,
I'm gonna grab it. These are nice.
It was very informal.
These are warm.
You know what else is important?
White people.
Oh.
Can you hand me that ice water bottle?
What?
Cookie
What?
break.
I said, we'll cut that.
Ice water bottle.
Anyway.
What was your segue, Ben?
My segue?
Yeah.
I didn't have a segue.
Oh.
I wish I had a segue.
Oh.
Segways
Oh,
are
boy.
pretty fun. Have you ever ridden one?
No.
So about humans
They're
fall
flat.
What about humans fall flat?
Oh.
Well,
Okay.
Will would play Beat Saber and then he would fall flat
Aw.
because he's tired
Not my.
and depressed and
I
frustrated.
still can't beat freaking.
So he would fall flat.
Sounds
Like
like
Will.
Jenga.
Oh! That was a good one.
Will, can you explain human fall flat?
Human fall flat is where you're basically ragdolls, and you're going in and you're being a team, and you have to complete certain things. Problem is that the map that we played that really pissed me off had you basically having to swing on a vine, and I didn't realize there was no
Oh, yeah.
way to go around. So I kept on trying to jump on the vine that's already been swinging with Nick and Alex getting to the other side.
Which, on top
I
of all
couldn't
this,
do it.
on top of all this, Will has a very hard time climbing in that game.
Yeah.
Well, whereas me and Alex are just speeding through and just like, whoop, we're up.
You gotta put the hands up, walk toward, then grab, then go up.
Slight jump before you.
Slight jump.
Slight jump. And then you pull yourself up. So Will has a hard time with climbing. So every time he would fail the vine jump or anything, it would send him all the way back to at the bottom of this canyon, and he had to climb up every single rock and make all these jumps, only to fail 2 out of the 3 times, and then have to start all that over. Then make it to the top, then fuck up the vine swing.
It's like a mini bed and potty. Mini getting over it session.
Yes,
And then y'all didn't take the crystals that I got.
we couldn't take the crystals with us.
Couldn't take the crystals.
We found gems in the game. They were awesome. They glue in the dark. They're like kryptonite. We're like, heck yeah. And we basically took them as far as we possibly could up until the vine swing.
You
We
could
did.
have made it.
We tried.
We tried to take the TV with us.
I spent literally 10 minutes trying to chuck those things up to y'all.
We got them up there. Then we left them. Then we also
But it's just a
encountered-
puzzle game.
Yes, it's a puzzle game that involves, it's a platformer as well. These cookies are... No!
Nick was like, I wanted that exact one! I was gonna say, a good
I'm
way
not-
to
yeah.
make any game difficult is to play with a child.
Oh my god.
It's the easiest, fastest way to make a game way
So
more difficult.
frustrating. No, you're doing it wrong.
Just
My
give
little-
it over.
My little brother has been playing video games with Olivia and I, who's my sister, since he was like
And me.
4, and Ben, when he could be convinced.
Mhm.
Since he was like 4, probably.
Her brother, not Ben.
My brother.
This is why you unplug the controller and say, yeah, you're doing great.
That
No,
did
like,
not work.
He
with
wanted
him.
to like play Skyrim.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
He's an 8. I'm just lying. Oh, he's 8. He's a little bit more bearable to play games with now, but one that he loves to play is Mario 3D World. It's the family favorite at my parents' house, my family. But there's like an easy way to get like infinite lives basically in the second level, and so that's fine. That one is like, all right, Anthony, we'll play, and it's fine because we have infinite lives, so you can just do whatever, and it's no one will get angry.
Right.
But the one that he wants to play a lot recently is Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and like, which is actually a pretty difficult game. It's not like the hardest game, but like, I don't know. I definitely die legitimately in it pretty often. But playing it with Anthony, it's like you'll get lives, and then it's just like, okay, well, we have to start the level over again because we ran out of lives. But thanks, Anthony. Maybe just stay in a bubble for a while.
And I think you have to like buy more lives, right?
Yeah.
Like if you get low on them, so you go like buy new ones, and he'll just burn through them all.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's like, I love you so much, but Jesus Christ.
So, I can attest, it's like a little bit of testament to myself, but how painful is it to watch someone fail over and over and over and over at a game that you have almost perfected?
I'm
Well,
sure
are
you're
you
counting
talking
on a
about
lot.
Star Fox? Because I was getting mad at you.
Are we talking about every other
Overwatch?
game that I'm better at you at? Because I always get mad watching
Good
you.
comeback.
Are we talking about Middle Earth? That's how I feel.
So dumb. Are we talking about Skyrim?
So,
No, you do really good.
everyone has like their one game that they're like specialized at, and you know they played it a million times, they love it to death, and when you watch someone else have that new friend that's never played it before play it,
We have to flip.
I don't like sharing. Normally all these would just be mine and that'll be it. It's fine. First person to get... Hold on. Where is it? First person to roll positively gets it.
Okay.
Oh, Guy from Mars is back.
Hey! Outlast. We will
Yes!
be doing horror games during the month of March. By the way, I have
March?
or not March.
October. That's very forward.
March, we will be playing band games during March.
I was like, not only is that
Guitar Hero.
not the scary month, but also so far.
March, the scariest month of the year.
And you must reaffirm with someone that you rolled a positively. This is for the cookie.
Oh. These are high stakes.
This is called making cookies harder.
Making sharing way
Weird
more
flex,
difficult.
but okay.
Alex, what was yours?
For the cookie?
Focus and try again.
Well, you can't.
No.
I
The
only get
stars say no.
Nope.
I'm trying to say something.
Oh my god.
And the result is...
Oh my god. I'm having
Do you
heart
positively want another cookie?
I positively do, but I can't.
Oh, it continues.
Sorry.
Oof.
As we are doing
So
this-
it shall
Talk
be.
about Atlas. 'cause
No, let's be
Nick,
positive.
talk about Atlas because I haven't heard of it.
Oh, you haven't heard of it?
No.
Oh.
It was free for a while.
You don't wanna
Not
do
Before that, we were talking. Oh yeah. Before we get into Outlast, we will. Did you already roll?
Oh, I'm not everyone. I'm good.
You health nut.
No.
It manipulates chances. Roll.
If he gets the positivity, I swear.
Focus the desk again. So.
High stakes.
Absolutely.
It's not positive.
You know what that means?
Nobody gets it.
My dog gets it.
Oh.
There's
There's
no
chocolate
chocolate in it.
Stop that. You're
Get wrecked.
That doesn't
Get
stop
wrecked,
her from having
fool.
that stuff.
Everyone's like,
Okay,
the garbage
so
gets
before
it
we talk
before
about
Alright.
Outlast.
Before we talk about Outlast, we need to finish our previous conversation about watching other people play games that
Oh yeah.
I think for me, it depends on the level of potential for that person to get better.
Middle Earth.
So yeah. So like that one, if there's a lot of room for people to get. I'm sorry, I looked at you, Ben. it was because you said something about it.
Ben sucks.
No,
Just kidding.
he's just gotten so unlucky.
Ben has
Also, I
true-
played Easterlings yesterday and I got killed also, so might just be the Easterlings. I don't know.
Maybe you need new figures.
But also the trees.
I
I
did.
think I could have beat the dwarves.
Oh, I'm sorry, guy from Mars.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, fun users.
Rink my ears.
But yes.
But yeah, there's a lot of different, like for Middle Earth strategy battle game, that's a tabletop game that is very rule heavy. There's a 140-page book on the rules for that game. So, you know, that one obviously there's a huge learning curve. I'm still getting better at it. I don't think anybody like is perfect at it. But then you have, and it's like also if you're a kid, like a little kid, it's a lot harder for them to be. Oh, way to go.
Thank you.
Weird flex, but okay. Whoa.
So depending on a lot of different like individual differences, it'll be easier or harder. So like, I love Spyro Year of the Dragon. That's probably my favorite PlayStation game, other than Return of the King.
Right.
And Samantha tried it out, the original version of it, and you know it's a pretty punishing game for someone who's never played it before. But I know Sam has a lot of background in video games, so I knew she could learn it. So you know, did she spend an hour spending on a level that I know I could beat in one run? Yes, but does that mean that it wasn't equally as fun to watch you power through it? No, it did not.
Now,
It's still very fun.
to counter, Sam, do you have something that Ian has played and you're just like, what the hell are you doing? Type thing? Or no?
No, because he wins everything.
That's not true.
What is it?
That the NES Mario Kart.
Oh my god.
I trash at that. Oh, that was brutal. And I was
It's
so,
Super
I
Nintendo.
am like just super good at Double Dash. So it was painful to be like, I'm bad at Mario Kart now. I didn't know I could be, but here I am. World
Double
champion.
Dash is hard as Mario Kart. Changed my mind.
Double Dash is awesome. It is the best
It's
Mario
It
Kart.
is best Mario Kart and
Best
hardest Mario Kart.
Yes.
It's the best.
It's
Mirror mode.
Will, is there a game that you have witnessed that has aggravated you when someone else has played and failed?
Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
There's two in this room.
None that Zach did.
Get roasted twice.
There's 2 in this room. You're fine. You're
So,
I know I'm good.
so we'll just do the black flag one first.
good. All right. So, in high school, we were all really big in Assassin's Creed, or at least a lot of us were, as a group combined. I finished the games. Black Flag came out. Beat it.
I could use Assassin's Creed.
We got Sam interested in it when she finally got an Xbox, and ever since
That is a big
Black
finally.
Flag, it's been about 4 years and she hasn't finished the campaign.
Mhm.
She's been going on the side quests.
High school was 6 years ago, PS.
I've never
7.
finished
So
Skyrim
worse.
for that.
So worse. Okay. Either way, she still has not beaten the campaign, even though I keep on telling her that she should, and that I can let her borrow all of the games if she wants to complete it, because I know she actually likes the games.
So all of this culminating to she still hasn't beaten the
She
same.
still hasn't beaten the same game.
At least that's not
We're
because
going-
she's not good at it, though.
No,
She's
That's
just
Marcus
taking
Stone.
your
When
time.
was it last touched, Sam?
No fucking.
2 apartments ago.
Oh, wow.
And
He
Will.
said, "Oh wow."
Well, actually, Sam, do you have a counter for Will? Is there something that Will has fucked up and you think that he could be better at because he's a scrub?
Is that what we're talking about?
Will's pretty good at all video games.
Yeah.
Oh.
He is. He's pretty good at all video games.
He
Did I
is.
say he's the
Regardless of
best
what he
out of our
says.
friend
I know,
group?
he's just full of himself.
No, but he's pretty good at
I
all.
make
It's
it
really
easy.
sad to watch Bill suck at golf sometimes.
Considering you and I constantly
Whoa.
back and forth.
What? I had to say that
for that one. Oh.
Oh my god, it became a roast.
Yes. Very nice. Do you have a counter for Ben?
That he's just as shit at golf as I am.
But it's real sad to watch you lose at pool.
Oh, there we go.
I'm not good at any game except Mafia, so that's the one I always like to force
Will,
everyone to play.
what is one of the very few games that I am bad at?
Star Fox 64.
We had to do a let's play of that.
We had to do a let's
When's
play.
it coming out?
It will be coming out hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon.
Um,
That's a big hope for
but we'll just
No
say
doubt
that
about it.
something happened at the very end of his run that made me almost want to throw a controller, and then I went through and beat it without dying once.
Yes.
Way to go.
I have.
See?
Good for you.
I feel like I have to
A
know.
plus champ.
Is there a game that Alex isn't good at?
Oh, that's
No,
a good
no, there is
question.
not.
I think Alex
That's
is
very
good at
kind of you,
everything.
but that's a complete lie.
Even Middle Earth, you haven't lost yet.
No, well, we tied.
We tied, it wasn't a
we
loss.
did it as a draw, so I still haven't lost yet. But
Neither of you.
That's
Rock paper scissors because it's all a chance, but he still bombs everyone.
Fucking.
Alex is good at everything.
do it.
Wow.
Ah!
For
Threw
example.
on
And
purpose.
that's where the streak has ended.
Terrible.
So- Ian,
Uh,
since you're not completely in this loop, I'm going to explain it to you. But you know how you kind of like hold everyone's hand for Middle Earth and like this is how you play the game, blah blah blah
You're
blah.
the best mom.
I mom. Yes.
Yes,
I
you
enjoy,
mom for that?
I enjoy momming.
I mom for Overwatch.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
trash
true.
at Overwatch.
Yes.
I'm trash at everything.
So
Very
But it's
likely,
getting to the
says
point
Eddie.
now where you
What?
don't have a hold of
Very
it as
likely.
much.
not as much.
I haven't
Like,
seen
Isn't that
it
such
in
a
while.
satisfying
Every
feeling when they
now
just
and then.
start
Yes,
flying away
and
on
I'm
their
like,
own?
you're almost gold tier. Heck yeah. You're still below average player though. So. But you guys are actually doing really, really good. It was pretty funny, like watching the beginnings though. I really wanted to record it, but at the same time, I didn't want to put salt on the wound type thing. But you guys like progressed instantly because you went from not playing PC at all to suddenly being thrown into a first-person shooter on PC, and then learning everything.
Well, also the bigger problem is, correct me if I'm wrong, well, but I think this applies to you too. We both played a lot of Overwatch on console when it
did.
first came out.
Mhm.
Then
So
we
we were
both
used
took
to
a
the aim
huge.
assist.
We were used to the controller. Then we took a huge break, like we hadn't played for years after, and then everyone else progressively got more skill, a lot more skill.
Right.
And we still picked up with that same level of like controller-based,
Mhm.
like all that previous work just didn't transfer over well, and it was a long time that caused a little bit of staleness. We had to shake off the rust.
This is why I like Ben's meme of the overpowered friend. It's like, press A to jump or press space to jump.
But I will tell you one thing. Another game that really just pisses everybody off when you're playing as a team and you're not doing something right, especially when it's Timmy and Alex.
What
is
do you mean?
Rocket League.
Timmy likes to play for the other team.
Oh yes.
His controller
love that.
malfunctions quite a bit.
A lot.
Timmy, I think you need a new controller.
I support Timmy's decisions.
I do too, because he makes it interesting.
It does.
Timmy just likes
It's
scoring.
been confiscated.
Regardless if it's our team or the other team, Timmy just likes scoring.
Alex suffers if me and Timmy are playing with him.
It'll suddenly turn to a 5v1 because I'm like, oh, I still gotta protect this goal. Timmy initiates it. Nick gets on board immediately. I'm just
Yes.
like, well, crap.
Well, here we go.
But yes, Guy from Mars mentioned Outlast
And Dopey.
and Double Key.
Yeah. I could talk about Skyrim for all the time. I've never finished the game though. I only do side quests.
So
If there's a cave, I go in it.
I mean, that's the kind of game you could do that infinitely for.
yeah,
I
you
do.
can't.
there's always another cave out
There's
there.
mods. You can't do it forever.
Yeah, Zach.
What is it?
I'll do
And-
it.
Hopping on the
all
Alex
those
bandwagon.
Yeah,
And,
probably.
Halloween would be disappointing.
I
So
talked to him.
Well, he has all of time to figure that out. So.
pretty much, yeah.
I mean, he came back once. He can come back again
Probably again.
and again.
And again.
So Outlast, for people who don't know, is
Isn't that a spooky game?
it is a spooky, scary skeleton game
Ooh.
where basically you play as a reporter.
Oh, I've seen it.
And you are supposed to be investigating. Well, you get a message from someone in the insane asylum saying something's not right here. You should come here and investigate, stuff like that, and get the word out. So when he gets there, it's all locked and everything like that. So he goes and sneaks in, and when he gets in there, he discovers that all of the people who are within the insane asylum have been like experimented on and have had like they are beyond insane now, and all the people have broken out. And suddenly it turns into this survival game where you're trying to make your way through the asylum, get as much evidence and understanding of what's going on, while also avoiding basically an insane naked surgeon who cuts off your fingers, a crazy man who calls you little pig who is beyond huge.
Did you just say naked?
Yes.
She said naked.
A
Okay.
sex offender who wants to marry you and take off your wee-wee.
This game is body
He
positive.
said Chris Walker, if you remember.
It's like, funny
Yes.
positive.
I do remember Chris Walker. And then a spooky scary ghost that goes around, and so there's like
And Zoo List.
The naked
Oh yeah, I remember that.
What?
yes.
Of course, I remember that.
Why
Like,
is
Sorry,
everybody
Naked
naked?
Twins.
I've never played a horror game.
Yeah.
I want to.
I watched Let's Plays. I personally,
Amnesia.
I played Slenderman like once.
I played Slenderman.
I played Amnesia.
Another
Yeah.
game that'd be good
Is
for
Outlast,
October
like-
is,
Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
I was gonna say another game that's like
Outlast. Overwatch.
Yeah.
Overlast.
Anyway, it's like Outlast is Evil Within,
Yes.
and that would be a good game to do for October.
Yes.
So, like-
also,
Go ahead.
Sorry, there's also a game out there. I thought there was like a multiplayer horror game where one of you is the killer randomly.
Yes.
Oh, you're talking
Oh,
about
that sounds-
Dead by Daylight?
Yeah, Dead by
Which
Daylight.
I have.
That
We need to
sounds
try and do
fun.
that.
It's-
that?
Neighbor.
It's
I
pretty
want to play
fun.
that for
Mm,
sure.
that's fine.
I've seen the trailer
I
for
would
that
get
one.
that.
So you can like hide up in the rafters and stuff. You can jump down and kill somebody.
Oh my god, that sounds
Oh no,
so
that is
Oh,
a
What is
different.
that one I was talking about? That was the one I was
That's
Oh,
the
where you're
high
like-
school one.
Yeah, where you're like an axe maniac.
Yeah.
That's the second one.
Uh,
It's the same
Fun.
problem. Yeah.
It's still in like early alpha beta. Some people have been playing it, but honestly, like Dead by Daylight is just the better version. It's been out for longer,
Okay.
and they have guest killers like Mike Myers, Freddy.
Probably.
Oh, Freddy's scary.
Freddy Krueger.
I think they added one of the survivors as
Yes.
Ash from Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Yes. Oh, Ash is in it as well. They usually every character they um.
Oh yeah.
Every new monster or killer that they add in, they usually add in a survivor from their universe in a way. They had a DLC called Whistleblower, yes.
Whistleblower, yeah. For this is Outlast.
Yes. Whistleblower is the prequel, and he's the one who sends the original message to the reporter who goes out there.
See, Nick?
Oh.
Probably.
Someday, maybe
At
they
some
can play
point.
and find out.
Yes.
Everyone gets naked sometimes.
Yeah, you got to take a shot.
I have,
He was born.
I have a bathing suit underneath. I'm good.
I have to think about my nude body.
But yes, what were we talking about before? Oh yeah, so Dead by Daylight, yeah, they have tons of different monsters and stuff like that. And also there are people who do flexing on that as well. Like they'll only put on certain, because everyone gets perks. They'll only put on like either no perks or maybe some perks that are really, really bad. Or sometimes they'll go all out and to make it extremely easy for themselves against their friends and stuff like that.
Outlast in Australia.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh,
Why?
What's up with the
really?
Aussies, man?
It's a con.
Crikey.
Which I don't think they allow.
The world is too dangerous as it is.
They don't allow certain violent
Ooh.
video games in
Spider
Japan
season.
either. I think, like
Mm,
shooters. I don't think.
Depends.
Yeah.
What is Outlast like a really scary
It's
game?
pretty scary.
It's pretty scary.
Yes.
It's not like.
What's the scariest
Jump
This-
game?
The scariest.
Yeah.
Of all games.
Give me a moment. Let me pull up my.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Hit.
Would it be
Guy
like
from
PT?
Mars, do you know it?
What is the scariest?
What is the
horror game?
scariest
Guy from
horror
Mars?
game?
Or in your opinion.
In your opinion.
What is the scariest game on your planet?
Life?
Earth Simulator.
Did I just see they have Uno on Steam?
Yes.
Yes.
You guys, why do we not just play more games on Steam together?
That's what we do.
Maybe you
We've
do.
been
You
doing
just
I
don't
don't
invite
have
me.
a way to do it.
Now you
I'll
do.
play with
Oh, no, I
you.
did.
What?
I'll play with you.
Yay!
Have you ever played with
You can
I
play with
Sims
us.
and
I
Uno.
want to do that.
You can play with us.
I
You've
wanna
always
do
been
Monopoly
invited.
too.
Me?
Yeah.
There's only one computer in our
I know.
So far, all I'm seeing on Nick's screen as he looks for this is Uno. So the answer is Uno is the scariest game,
Uno.
especially if it's spicy.
Draw
Plus
4.
4.
Alien Isolation
That's pretty scary.
is pretty cool.
Alien Isolation? Ooh.
Like from the Alien movies. So basically, you're trying to maneuver and progress through the story, while at the same time there are multiple AIs that control the actual alien. Sometimes it's more than one. Drop down, and you have to like maneuver your way through like vents and stuff like that. And if you get caught, because it's not just the alien that you're trying to run away from, you're dead. Pretty much. There are ways that you can throw like flashbangs and stuff like that, or sound beacons that kind of lure the alien away or scare it away. So you're constantly crafting gadgets and stuff to assist you. Aliens up there.
Outlast is scariest I've ever
Followed by
played.
Outlast
Followed
2.
by Outlast 2. Okay.
Ah, there's a second one. So apparently they outlasted in the first one.
Way to go, guy from Mars.
A
Also, I just can't ever heard of Soma.
What does that
Oh,
stand for
Shokugeki.
something?
no, it
Thank
is.
God.
South of my ass.
If it's just Soma, no.
What the
It's a scary
South
place
of
to
my
be sometimes.
ass.
Soma is another horror
What
game.
in the gooch? Come on.
I think that one is you're traveling, you're walking around on a ship. Oh, also Dead Space. Heck yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty scary.
Pray.
Playing that with a Craftwell remix, playing certain music while wearing like headphones and stuff while playing the game, will make you nauseous, and
This does not sound like it's going to be a very fun October for me.
it's gonna be awesome.
Fantastic.
Because I've never played.
Will's
a
gonna
really
puke.
scary game.
Will
you can
loves
come over
scary
and play
movies.
Sims and just decorate a house for Halloween instead. How about that?
We'll go trick or treating in The Sims.
Until he spots death. That means
They also die in The Sims. Spoiler alert.
That's true. We could go look at ghosts.
the Grim Reaper
they're not
in this
scary.
tux is amazing.
So we haven't talked about Uno.
Uno.
Spicy Uno.
What is spicy Uno?
Sam
Well,
knows.
Where you take Cajun seasoning.
And
Put
then
it on the
you
cards.
cards.
That's it.
You have to
And every time you draw a card, you have to rub your eye.
No, and every time you get a +4, you have to do a line
Cajun seasoning.
Okay, so enough of the memes. What is
the curry powder?
spicy?
But yeah.
Okay, so admittedly, it has been a minute since I played Spicy Uno, but
Roughly.
roughly just 1 minute. I was playing it like just you might have missed it. I played it off camera. But basically, Spicy Uno, much like any of these games, is just Uno, but a lot harder. One of the mechanics is I think it's 6. Anytime someone plays a 6 for any reason, everyone has to slap the table. If you're the last person to slap the table, you have to like rip to the mic.
I'm having PTSD flashbacks because I slapped the table too hard one time.
If you're the last one to slap, you have to. I forget the
I
exact
think you
number.
pick
but
up the discard pile.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah,
You take
Okay,
a
so
shot.
the fact that we both thought that means it's definitely
that's
right.
what it is. If not, make up your own rules.
You can
What
make
can I
those
tell
now.
you?
Burial card.
There's-
Cereal card.
There's also a rule in Spicy Uno where anytime you play an ace, you get to switch your hands with any other person's hand that you want.
Oh yeah.
And there's also, like it's the rules about you can stack as long as you have a +2, +4, whatever it is, you can stack and keep stacking and keep stacking and keep
There are
stacking
aces in Uno?
until you run out. Did I say ace? Maybe it's 1.
It's a
Or is it-
whatever.
It's
Make
a
up your own
specific
rules.
value, but yeah.
Yeah, what was the
Um,
rule?
And then the other thing that you can do is you can just put down a card. Like it doesn't have to be your turn, right? If
Yes.
you,
The
like,
jump
have
in.
a match.
It's
yes.
the jump in.
Yes, exactly. So if you have, like, if someone plays a blue 2 and you have a blue 2, you can play. And now you've taken the turn and it keeps going clockwise from you. So it
Mhm.
kind of goes all over the place and just a nice little fun add-in that we like to play.
So-
We have a custom Spicy Uno deck so that whatever card the one person wins on, you sign it and then you leave it in the deck. And it's a fun way to...
Yeah.
So the Martian has asked what the abbreviation of SWBZ is.
Wherever you want it to be.
What's the
Nice.
abbreviation?
It was originally discovered with the main people who are part of SWBZ, which is Spuddle, Century / Wiggs, Benjamo, Bird of Hermes,
We're just a combined
Zero.
B.
So, like, of the main SWBZ that you mostly see, the main SWBZ, we have extra SWBZ, which would be like Ian and Sam and Bailey.
who also fit in.
Who also
That's
fit
really
in.
Ian.
Hey
Bay.
Sandwich,
Yeah.
which would be a sandwich for the animals, and then
Mhm.
Zoo
Bay.
and Bay. So it's always pretty nice to have stuff like that. But yes, the main SWBZ is our abbreviation of our names, our tags is what SWBZ is.
So cool.
And
We're dope as shit. Get some.
So Sam, I
Yes.
think you'd be happy to know that there's a version of Uno on that what you just saw on Steam that is essentially Spicy
Yeah,
Uno.
it's essentially Spicy
We've been
Uno.
playing
Because
Spicy
it's-
Uno this whole time.
Because it's through Ubisoft, so they put rabbits in there.
yeah, so basically you can turn on and off certain rules, but basically if you play a 0, everything goes.
Everyone
Rotates their
Rotates their
hand
hand
counterclockwise.
Yeah,
So
okay.
Alex will get my hand,
And
Alex will get
7 you swap with one person.
Right.
Guy from Mars, thanks for following
Thanks
us
for
on Twitch.
following.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Thanks, friend.
Thank you. And then there was also what else? That was on
You guys
there
just said-
specifically.
There were the
Yeah,
rabbits
Rabbit
cards.
card. There's one that's like you put it down like a wild card, but it puts a timer on the not like a dynamite on the deck, and whoever has to draw first has to draw like 4 additional cards on top of what they drew.
Isn't there like a vacuum one where it like sucks all the cards in? And
we don't
distributes
have-
We
it?
don't have that. We didn't play with that one.
We don't have the DLCs for that.
Oh.
So that's the Suck Dragon. And
Something
basically
like-
it just sucks up everyone's cards and disperses them out randomly.
That's fantastic.
But do you get to sign the winning card?
Aw.
And keep it forever as
It's
an
not
homage
exactly
to your
the
friendship.
same.
And then there's also like stacking and stuff like that. So, say he plays +2, then he can have +2, then turns into a +4,
Yeah.
then I can do a +2, then turns +6,
Yeah.
and then +8, right?
Mhm.
But
all the way.
it can be countered. So if he played a red +2, I can also match a red +2, but it only becomes a normal +2 for
But
the
it's
stack.
his turn and then he goes towards Zach.
So you can match cards and jump in.
I see you, Steve. I see you.
It's pretty cool. You should play with us because we're cool
Invite
like
me
that. You're always invited to the game.
Do I have to just know autonomously if you guys are playing it?
Makes a
Well,
good
you
point.
see what happens is you get on your computer and you log into the Discord, and if we're all online,
Yeah, I want to get into
Usually-
Discord. I'm not.
You should get a Discord.
there's a
I'm
link
just a
in the
stranger from the
description.
street, by the way. No, it's not.
Yes, there's a
What's
link
a
in the
Discord?
description for the Discord that you click,
But
and then
Sam does
magically
not have a
allows.
Discord, is what she's saying.
No, I do
No,
have
she has a
Discord.
Discord.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't fuck me then. I don't know.
You know who is? You know who is part of Discord?
Later.
I am also.
In the Discord?
Oh, I am?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. You invited me to it. Yeah.
Why didn't you invite me to it?
Well, we were talking. We were already talking.
Alright, let's
I'm
take
gonna
this
leave.
offline.
Subscribe to our YouTube.
Subscribe to everything. You can follow us.
Check us out.
Check it out.
And once again, thank you for following.
I think we covered it.
For the most part, is there any other games that you guys have kind of like thought of, or that you flexed on you, overly hard, rage moments, anything like that? Maybe rage with friends, possibly like Madden, NCAA.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Madden.
We
You
don't.
don't want to talk about
And
Madden.
this you're not
FIFA.
Cecil.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, so we do have a friend named Colin Cecil,
Okay.
and whenever he lost,
It's
he
fine.
would break a controller.
Yeah. He legitimately brought 3
He
controllers.
literally he bought controllers to leave over at Marcus's house, and Marcus beat him one time. He got so mad he smashed a controller and said, "Hey, you got 2 left." I also remember the Monopoly game over at Marcus's place where Nolan got mad at me because I betrayed him. And then he kept on taking the 2 dice, put in a snake eyes, and told me, "You're this. You're a snake. You're a snake."
Top 10 anime betrayals.
Yeah, definitely.
Bailey, you had a really good idea for how to make Middle Earth strategy battle game.
Challenging?
focused on- Yeah, by rotating the board. Like keeping all the minis in the
Oh,
same
yeah.
relative position, but everything
Versus-
changes location.
Oh no.
Yeah, I made a lost joke, and Ian was like, actually.
No, I love that idea. As if this crazy complex game isn't already hard enough.
Okay, so some of my friends are obsessed over Siege, which is a reference to Rainbow Six Siege. If you don't know. He went and
He went to an
Zach,
extent
you-
to
He went to an
break his
extent to break his controller and TV after losing several matches.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
I've never
Uh,
broken anything.
I love Rainbow Six Siege. It's pretty cool. It's like a SWAT game in a way, similar to Counter Strike, except shoot through walls and
For the barriers.
you can put up barriers, break through stuff. Yeah,
Be a troll,
Explosives.
you know.
it's
Be
awesome.
a troll.
Good one, Ben.
Don't stop.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Zach, when's the last time you raged at something?
I'm a pretty calm person.
Yeah.
But there's not a game. It's not a game that brings it out of you.
Game
It's not sitting there waiting to be unleashed.
No.
Oh yeah.
Zach
Ben?
comes in hot when it comes to actually insulting real people, but
Specifically,
when it comes to just games, he's like, fine.
I was gonna say I think a big one that we haven't touched on is Cuphead, as far as a
Oh.
game that is rage-inducing.
It's like,
cool.
Yes.
It's so fun, but the graphics are
Sadly, it is a
Beautiful.
platformer to an extent.
It is.
I don't know if you would like that. It is a unique
Part of the reason why I
platform,
want to play it is because I know it's challenging and it's a platform, so it's like another little.
but it's a very unique
It
kind
is.
of platformer.
Yes.
when you guys say
Technically, it's a side
platformer,
scroller, I guess.
Mario.
Okay.
With platformer
oh,
elements. to
I've
it.
been thinking like
Silly.
Crash Bandicoot is a platform.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
it is. Which we
Yeah,
actually
it's
just had on the Switch.
platforms. Jumping from platform to platform.
I don't know that I would have considered Mario a platformer, but
It's like one of the OG
okay.
slash side scrollers.
If you
I'm
fall in the
thinking
hole,
as a
you die.
side-scroller.
there is one
They
more
have
that
the
you
jump
can go to.
But to resume on Cuphead, I do have it.
Just- I'm not just saying-
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you with it.
I mean,
Will's
even-
politely raising his hand.
This is why everyone kills Will.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I gotta tell you something about raising your hand later. So
Really?
yes, I do have Cuphead, but I've been wanting to play it. You guys have both played it?
Yes.
Yes.
So weird story. My brother and sister-in-law used to live in China, and we went over there to visit them. And while we were there, in the middle of the day, just for some downtime, my brother was showing us Cuphead, and so we kind of just lost track of time. So rather than just go like explore China for 3 days in the afternoon,
We got through like the
we
third
just
thing
played
we wanted to
Cuphead.
do, Because it's co-op.
What about the chef game that you guys have to play? The claw.
Overcooked.
That's what I was gonna bring
Oh,
up.
the overcooked.
Because
Phil, what
no,
were you gonna raise your
wait,
hand
because
about?
Timmy
Oh,
makes it
okay.
fucking hard.
Why?
Ow.
Is he
Because
bad?
we do
Is
not
it troll?
move on to the next level until
Yeah, I
we
have
get
3
3
stars
stars.
to move on.
I get that.
Oh yeah.
I
He's
also
pretty
get
good
that.
at it.
Yeah.
FCB.
This is why we play well
I
together.
realized a part of video game that I rage at.
IG page not found.
What's that?
From Mars.
It's in Kingdom Hearts.
Uh-oh.
When you're
Reggie
fighting
Lyle in your
the.
Okay, it's
Your phone.
just search
Okay.
Talking
Thank
Swift
you.
on Instagram and you should be sure to find it. You'll see some Middle Earth figures and a picture of Alex and I on a couch.
Yeah.
We'll fix
Our couch,
We'll
actually.
fix it. Thanks.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Diaper Mars.
Thanks, bud.
You got. You got.
You're a
us
real
on the-
friend.
You're the real OG.
You're looking out for our best
You're the
interests.
realist.
You're
a realist.
First things
Why
first,
does
do
oh
that.
but so you just get annoyed because he makes you guys do 3 stars?
Well, okay, so we got to the ice worlds
okay.
and we started.
There's one or
This is one. When we had to do the fish and chips for the penguins.
It's hard.
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard.
But they're so cute.
Yes, but Alex, with only 3 people instead of playing as 4 or with 2, it's more difficult, I think, because one person has to do 2 jobs while there are 2 people doing 1 job.
There.
Yeah.
And so when we were playing, Alex and I were getting really frustrated because we couldn't do what we were supposed to do, and we kept on falling when the ice is going down the middle.
Uh-huh.
We kept on falling in the water,
Mhm.
and Timmy was getting mad at us and saying that we weren't going to move on until we got 3 stars. And I was just like,
The ice ones are hard because it is very easy to fall off. And like the truck one is really hard too.
I fixed the Instagram link, by the way. So
Yay!
it was missing a Z.
Thank you for
Oh,
Oh, wow. Oh, well. So those of you with Z just got cut.
Sorry, Timmy
That's
and
me.
Julian.
But a nice mechanic they added that I feel makes that slightly easier
I haven't
in
played two
Overcooked
yet, so.
2 is you can now throw things.
Yeah, you can.
Which is
Game changer.
nice.
It is a game changer.
Literally.
That
changed the game.
They force you to do it when you're on hot air balloons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Fun times.
It's so fun. I friggin' love Overcooked.
But yeah, you have to refresh the page in order to probably hit the link now. But that's about it. Also, hello, other viewers. Follow us on everything.
Yes, please.
Dream Daddy.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Well.
play Dream Daddy.
There is a Dream Daddy
Yes.
Let's Play currently being recorded and put out.
Ben and Baby
Yeah.
are doing it, and y'all, it is. I just die laughing
Dreamy.
every
So
time
funny.
I watch it.
Quality edits, quality commentary, just
Thank you so much.
really, really great stuff.
Thank you.
Yes.
I would
It's
recommend.
fantastic.
I'm Diego.
I'm trying my best.
What is your daddy's name?
Jack.
Morgan.
Jack Morgan.
I thought it was Barry.
That is my dad's name.
But not his
Oh.
daddy's name.
Ooh, T. Dream Daddy is
There's a
excellent.
difference between dad and daddy.
Nice work, oh, Daddy.
Speaking of the October season.
Ben, when's the last time you were feeling a little ragey?
Ask Bailey.
For me, I thought it was when I was joining you in Overwatch and you were getting a little bit of frustration growing.
That's
Oh.
Oh?
Ben doesn't let out full anger when anyone else around.
that's
It's
why I said
it's immense size. It's just it's okay.
It's so funny. When Ben gets mad, it's like, why don't you just stop playing? He's like, no, I just.
Words can't do it. So he actually says the words normally, like in the right rhythm, except each one is very staccato and shortened. It's like, yeah, man, I just don't know.
That's
so true. I just feel like I had that moment in How I Met Your Mother when they realized things about each other and like my glass is shattered.
Alex, when was your last frustration / rage
know.
moment?
You already know.
Which one?
I mean, all of them, but we've already talked about this game, and there's not a lot of games that do this.
Most of it is like me and Timmy doing antics, and then Alex having to deal with bullshit.
Oh, I wasn't saying that. I was saying Beat Saber.
Yeah.
No, what about that time you cussed out some 10-year-olds?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, many years ago. I've been much calmer since then, until Beat Saber came along and brought it out of me. But it's just like, I know what I want to do, but it's just one of those things where I know what I want to do, but I can't make myself move fast enough.
So the best part is that there's a song called Rainbow Road.
Rainbow Round.
It's a banger. But anyways,
Yeah,
he'll be getting all the way towards the very end, and then right where the last like beat drop happens, it goes Rainbow Road, and then you start playing again. He'll make it all the way up to like where the beat drops.
Right before the roll, yeah, right before the drop.
And then it would fail, and then he'd just scream, Rainbow Road! And we're all just like sitting there like, this man never like goes above a
Probably
whisper.
the loudest they've ever heard me be.
Yeah. Just
But
tears coming down my
it's
face
fun.
and laughter.
It's one of those games where it's so challenging, but the reward is so immense for actually finally just like working your way through it and having it all pay off at the end.
If you remember practicing Guitar Hero
It's
and
very
trying to
similar.
get expert 100% on a song that you really just wanted to beat, that's the exact same feeling that you get playing Beat Saber. So
Only with more exhaustion, I assume.
Yes, it's a legit workout.
Will, your
Yeah.
most recent raid.
He gets quiet.
yes,
Seething, a
Will
quiet
is
season.
just-
I have
You know
a
it's
quiet
true.
rage.
So,
The
like,
internal
say,
rage.
say Monopoly, I'm like, good commentary there, Will. You know?
I'm just sitting in my chair with my headphones on going,
I could tell rewatching that. I was like, somewhere Will is seething. Even though this has already been filmed, he's still seething.
pretty much.
But when it comes to, like, more physical activity, that's when he has more outbursts.
Beat Saber.
No!
Yes.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah,
The nose
Rocket
bars.
League. I would get pissed off, and every time I would miss.
Okay.
No,
Every time it would be playing doubles, it would be me and Alex and
Will and
Will
Timmy.
and Timmy, and Timmy would F up and then start playing for our team, and then because his controller malfunction, and then Will would try to block the goal and he would miss. He goes, "No!"
I would. It's a significant no.
It's a significant.
Very.
Very impactful.
And so Timmy and Alex, of course, started laughing.
Bailey, do you have frustrating / mid-range moments? Things that you just don't like?
There's one level. No, because I don't play games I don't like.
I know.
But-
that's the whole thing. Like with Bailey, is like there's frustration. I am done playing this now.
This isn't fun anymore. There's the last level of Mario 3D World, which is like after you beat all the other levels, it's like a bonus world.
Mhm.
What's the memories, really?
It takes a really long time. Actually, it makes Ben really angry. I don't really get
I
mad.
see the pain in your eyes.
Because there's no checkpoints,
Yep,
and it's really fucking long.
it is really long.
And they put, I mean, obviously it's the last level in Mario game. They put everything that is a challenge from any other level in this level.
Yeah.
And there's things that you have to do that are difficult to do in the first place,
Mhm.
and then having to start all the way over when you fuck up one thing, just
Turned up to 11.
Yeah, but I don't really get that angry when I play it.
He's like, oh, I'm just done with this. It's fine.
Did you ever
Yeah, I'm
play
just like, we'll stop.
Mario Odyssey?
Mhm.
There's a level like that in Mario Odyssey too that frustrated me to no end. Like the final, it's called the darker side of the moon.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah.
I've
I
beaten
don't
it.
But with Guy from Mars, he's saying Fortnite and kids on Fortnite. I just think Fortnite in general just.
We don't talk about
We don't
Fortnite.
talk about Fortnite.
That is the forbidden child.
Fortnite's fine.
No, it's not.
It's like, I actually like Fortnite.
Well, it was a fun game, but the culture around it made it pretty unbearable.
That's fair.
Did you guys hear that Ninja switched to Big Super?
Yes.
I heard about
He
that.
was bought out and
He got a lot of money. What can I say?
I mean, good
He
for
had-
him.
He like set the record for Mixer for the most followers in a short amount of time.
me and some other friends that also stream were having a discussion about streaming on multiple platforms because you're not allowed to do that with terms of service with each one of these things. So you can't stream on both YouTube and Twitch or Mixer because if you do, that means you lose affiliation and you get strikes against you and you're out, which is pretty messed up. But Ninja's overhyped. He's kid friendly. Actually, you're not even supposed to allow cursing on Mixer from what I hear, unless you're supposed to have an 18 and out stream thing on.
What is this? 1990?
Yeah.
Sam,
Ragey games.
Rage Against the Machine.
Okay, so dialing back to talking about Spyro, I will say any of those levels where you have to run around and chase the little hooded guy. Oh my god, I get triggered every time I hear that sound. That one genuinely makes me mad. I don't know.
That's my rage. That is my rage.
What is it?
In
It's
Kingdom Hearts, when you're fighting one of the Kingdom Hearts 2, where you're fighting one of the
Demics.
Organization 13 Demics, and there's a cutscene beforehand. Can't skip,
Oh.
That's brutal.
So if you
and
die,
then he's
you
really
just-
hard, and he always starts out with "Dance, water,
he says
dance."
it the whole fight because he controls water and he plays a guitar.
He plays a guitar.
It's the weirdest thing. But yeah, and you have to beat all the little water guys before you can attack him. And then every time he regenerates the water people, dance, water, dance! And it's over
And then
and over and over again.
and over, then you die, then you have to go back through everything, and it's over and over and over.
Wonderful.
Kill them.
But I love that character.
Yeah, he's awesome.
But this fight is terrible.
I'm remembering Dance Water Dance from now on.
Dance, water, dance.
Ian?
My most recent rage. I don't know.
Or maybe just most recognizable.
Most recognizable. What do I rage at? Do I really rage? I don't know. I
Balrog.
feel like I troll a lot.
Balrog.
You don't
It's
rage
more
at
like
it.
learned helplessness.
Yeah.
There. I don't know if I rage.
And then eventually he's like, I finally beat the Balrog! And then,
And then it turns out I was cheating, so I didn't. Still learning the rules.
Yes.
I don't know what game I rage at. Most of the time I troll. I got really angry playing my most recent Spyro Year of the Dragon. So on like this part where you have to slide, and it's just it took me probably like 30 minutes, which doesn't sound like a long time, but it's like it should take like 30 seconds to do. So it's like 30 minutes of like trying to do a 30-second little segment, just over and over again. I remember getting pretty angry at that. That was good.
Oh, and speaking of flexing on friends and inducing rage, Shield Face.
That sounds targeted.
Shield face.
Yes, Shield Face from,
Will's not happy.
from the Pokemon
Remember earlier
commentary.
with,
Quiet Seed.
Remember earlier when he said I just get really quiet when I'm angry.
Yes.
Nick, your most recent or a notable rage moment.
I don't really have too much outburst stuff,
Bork.
but I do.
Your poor pork.
Bork was heart wrenching. That was like, it wasn't necessarily like rage. I felt like that was just more like,
Grief.
it was a large amount of grief. It was just like, I don't want to like do anything now. I'm.
I don't want to live anymore. What would be on my
I
board?
just give up.
I just like straight. I don't normally just give up on things, but that I was just like,
It's time to go to bed, guys. It's time to go to bed.
even though it was only like maybe 1 in the morning, I normally go to sleep at like 5. So I was like sitting there like, I guess I'll just go to bed now.
Depression
done.
nap.
Depression sleep.
Fair.
Yes.
Fair.
Hello.
You want to look out the window, see all the deer eating? Yes. Or you can look out the porch. Yeah, I just fed them. There's a whole crowd out there. I don't know if you can see it from here, or else go down the porch.
We live in Georgia. There are deer. We feed the deer.
This is a crowd.
There's so many.
Yes, there are a lot of deer. We will see that soon. They'll be out there for a while.
See the buck out there?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's cool.
You need a fan on in there.
Fan is on.
Amen.
Got it.
We're leaving.
Okay.
Have fun.
She'll be thanks.
Have a good time.
Alright, she ate, but just let her at the room when you leave.
Anyways,
I think most of your rage moments are for.
can you get the?
Sorry.
Thank you. But yeah, most of mine are.
Bye, Mars.
Bye, Mars. Bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Alligator.
We'll see you next Sunday.
Unless you were saying bye to next
Sunday.
month.
That might be.
Come on. But yeah, I'm mostly just like, I'm done with this. I do get frustrated with like teammates and stuff like that and shooters that I do.
That's what I was gonna say. Just you usually drop salty comments for when we are teammates in Overwatch.
It's
that
just
we can
venting, to be
communicate
honest.
with.
I've even done that, though.
Yeah, it's really just venting, and it's like, "Ah, this guy's
Especially-
trash.
Especially now that I know how to play healers for the most part, I'm like,
Keywords for the most
you need to fucking do your job.
hmm
Be the mercy you're supposed to be.
I think my favorite comments
Will
that
never die.
they'll type in the comments in the team chat or whatever, and they'll just
Oh, yeah,
be all
because-
like, "Can our healer do something?" And I just like think, "Will," and just, he's saying that you're not doing anything.
The difference is that I was doing things for the people that matter on our team.
As in like pocketing me. It's like Nick stays alive.
Well,
we
I
all
do
win.
it. I do it to you
And
him
out.
because you two are mainly tanks,
Yes.
and that's who you're supposed to heal as a healer,
Sometimes.
for the most part.
Or Genji.
Unless you actually have a good
Everyone.
TPS.
I need healing.
Yes.
But you haven't
I'll
had
be a
it.
good DPS.
You're supposed to be healing here.
I'll heal you.
Double
Final comments on challenging games, flexing on games, games flexing on you, flexing on friends,
No
friends
matter
flexing
what.
on you.
No matter what, any game can become a hard game, and you can flex on that game if you're drunk.
Yes.
True. Add alcohol
Just
immediately
get
becomes
fucked
harder.
Mario Kart.
off.
Yeah. That'll be a fun thing to do. Would be like Mario Kart as a group.
I'd win.
No, you.
I'm horrible at the newest Mario Kart. I don't like the newest Mario Kart.
Let's play drunk double dash.
Yes. I am on board with that one.
That would be
people's
really
Mario
easy
Kart.
to drink. Well, you do. Because you just switch, positions.
You just have teams. You can switch.
Dibs.
You're not driving.
So one person has to drink 2 beers while the other person's driving.
There's no open container laws in that world.
Yeah.
Wow.
That'd be good.
It also
Yeah,
adds an
you
element
don't
where
drink
you
while
kind of have
drive,
end up
so you have to
forcing your
stop the car
teammate into
before
drinking
you
Oh,
with you.
yeah.
Also,
Also-
a team.
I have found out as someone
Every
who-
time
If
you're
you're on a
back,
team,
Wait.
then your partner has to chug too.
I was
every
gonna
time
say-
you're dragged on the back, you have to chug your drink.
I was gonna say, for people who don't drink alcohol, there are ways to amend it so you can still drink something that makes it harder. So you can do like Tabasco shots, or you can drink a really highly carbonated drink like LaCroix, which some would argue tastes even worse than beer. So,
Or the
Yeah.
Croy with Tabasco.
which so you can still join in the fun without
Or
having to.
Lemon
Dijon
juice?
mustard,
Yeah,
soy
lemon juice.
sauce.
Yeah, there are a lot of variations of it, so don't feel like if they're drinking beer you can't play, because you still can. It'll still be hard and you'll still feel really gassy and
You
uncomfortable.
will suffer like the rest of us.
Exactly. Everyone can suffer in different ways.
Some will have more fun while suffering,
I'll
but
just
Yeah.
stab my tongue with a fork. How about
they use
You
that
get-
fork.
You get 40 stabs before you can drive.
Ah!
Brutal.
Your teammate must do it for you.
Oh my gosh.
And,
Yeah, it can't be fast.
Oh. Oh.
so, is there any other ideas, commentary that we have? No? Alright, then we will be wrapping up.
Guys, burgers and fries.
Yes. We are totally sponsored by Shy Guys
Yes, we are.
Burgers and Fries. Because it's totally a real place.
For legal reasons, we're not.
Gotta put it out
Would
there.
like to, though.
We're not affiliated with Five Guys at all.
If you would like to sponsor us,
But if you want to, I would appreciate a burger.
Shoot me an email.
So, for those who do not know, follow us on YouTube. We post Let's Plays and we also post these podcasts on there. We also do continuous posting on Facebook and Instagram to the best of we can, as well as Twitter. And we also have our own Discord. And all these things are found below on our Twitch. Also, if you are from the future and you are watching this on YouTube, go check out our Switch and follow us on there. So,
Yeah, switch.
yes, our Switch. Did I say Switch? Twitch. Yes, follow us on our
Twitch.
Twitch.
Comment and like and subscribe. And
Comment and like
be
this.
great.
Hit the bell. Get notifications.
Frosting. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But if
Thank you,
ever,
guy from Mars.
yes,
For hanging
Yeah,
out
from
today.
Mars
Thank
is
you all for
awesome.
watching.
Yes, thank you
Yes.
anyone else who popped in.
And what should people comment about?
What they want to see next.
Yes, what would you like to see next on the Talking of the SWBZ?
what are your favorite rage moments?
Yes.
Or any games that you've bastardized. What are those?
And also,
Let
Yes,
me
and
play
can we
them.
play them?
and also, people need to talk more in the chat. It just doesn't need to be a guy from Mars all the
We love talking to you.
time. I know, a guy from Mars is awesome.
Yes.
Well,
We also have
I'll
some
say
other guys that come in
Yeah.
every now and then,
Miner's usually pretty good.
like Hey Sandwich.
She's here. She's here now.
Why couldn't you be
She's
like?
like, hold on.
It's okay.
I
She'll only
was.
comment once and then not comment again.
My phone died.
Sounds
Anyways.
like off-stream topic.
Follow us on all of our social media and stuff like that, and we're gonna catch you guys next week.
Yeah.
Bye.